Good morning, gamers. How are you doing today? How are we doing today? Alright, guys. It's cold today. I got my blanket on. I got my sweater. I got my sweatpants. My extra socks. Yes, eat bees. I feel that so much. I'm definitely gonna have to take a nap today with like 16 blankets. Like, all of the blankets. But yeah. So last time we left off on the end of chapter 4. So we are gonna get back into things. So Rika is, I guess I should say Rika and Hanyu are still going through time loops and trying to figure out a way to stop the horrible tragedies that keep happening after the summer of this event. We are about, I'm not sure if it's going to happen this chapter or next chapter, we are about to start the actual festival, which is where things start getting fucked up. And so far, oh my god, the cat wants out now after like 2 minutes. Hold on. Give me a second. Listen here, you little shit. I was comfy. Get out of here. Go. Thank you. Goddamn cats. Anyways. What was I saying? I don't even know. Oh yeah, we started a new time loop, and in this one, things seem to be going like, as Rika was saying, she keeps rolling 6s on all the dies, like this is becoming like a miracle route. And she's hoping that this is actually the time where she can escape her death and everyone else can escape the tragedy. Because in every other timeline, everything gets fucked up. Most people die or have terrible diseases or terrible trauma and psychotic problems. Alright, so this is... I know, right? That's what I'm saying, man. Oh, what's going on? Are we already fighting? Oh boy. What the fuck's going on? Hi, Rika! What the fuck? Are we having a Dragon Ball Z fight? What the hell? What? What? That's an interesting way to start the chapter. So this is chapter 5. It was a very humid day. Not even a slight breeze was blowing. It had been an unpleasant summer, one that wasn't only hot, but swelteringly so. There were various articles of clothing hung out to dry in the messy apartment windows, but the lack of wind evoked an impression far removed from the coolness. You didn't give me enough time to read that! God damn it. In fact, it only felt more oppressive. There were crooked houses and apartments lining the narrow, twisted road. In addition, there were planters and flower pots whose contents were beginning to rot, as well as bicycles and cars on the side of the road, making it even more cramped, more oppressive, and all the more sweltering. Nobody who was in this place at this time was visiting it voluntarily, but in spite of what everyone might expect, a single motorcycle came rolling in. Who dis? Motorcycle stopped in front of a 2-story apartment, one that could hardly be called neat, even as flattery. A man fairly old and wrinkled stepped off. When a nearby neighbor hanging out the laundry noticed him, she called out, "Konnichiwa!" That's quite an accent. Those are the oldest sounding, like, geezers. Suddenly I got goosebumps all over my body. I felt like something bad was about to happen for no reason. Everyone gets this feeling in a different way. Some people get a twitch in their eyelids or some kind of movement in their ears. In my case, I get goosebumps. Satoko was supposed to be cooking dinner tonight. He sounded like a Sims character! We didn't have much inside the refrigerator, so I asked her to go grocery shopping. I was just watching TV and relaxing while I waited for her. She was usually back by the time my cartoon was over, after which she'd start cooking dinner. But my cartoon was over, the news had started, and Satoko wasn't home yet. Satoko sometimes waited until they had a sale at the store. In that case, she'd usually come home late. That must be what was happening. It was too early for me to start worrying about her. But, I can't explain this feeling. For me, I get that gut wrench. I can't explain it, but I feel extremely worried. Once I started feeling like that, I couldn't just sit in the room and wait for her.
Hanyu? Iru?
I thought she might know where Satoko might be, but she's never around when I need her. Hanyu's not with me 24 hours a day. She sometimes falls asleep and sometimes she goes out for walks. Though in her case, it's not a walk, but more like a stalk. She follows people around when she finds someone interesting and she enjoys observing them. Well, she can't really interact, so I guess that's fair. I had no choice. I've had to find Satoko on my own. I had a good idea of which stores Satoko goes to. I should check those first. We're in Hinamizawa. If I asked people, they'd tell me where she went. Yeah, but... Aren't you scared of dying right now? Are you sure you should be wandering... Nipa! Should you be wandering around like that? I didn't even have time to say thanks. I ran to the next door. People were greeting me and waving at me. I'd usually smile and greet them back, but I had no time for that at the moment. I have to save my bestie, Satoko. Satoko. I need Satoko in my life. I was able to survive for so long because of her support. Without her, this world would be so empty and boring. Satoko is nonchalant and optimistic, unlike me. I've learned so many things from her over the past 100 years. But I still need to learn more from her.
Satoko!
Oh, don't cry. People stared at me as I ran by them, screaming out her name. I didn't care what they thought, though. Satoko. Why are they looking at me like that? I'm looking for Satoko. Somebody tell me where she is. My heart was convulsing inside my body like a fish out of the water. What little stamina I have, I hate my body for being so young. Didn't she just go there, though? I went to a few different places, but I still couldn't find her anywhere. People I talked to gave me advice on where to go, but I couldn't find her in any of the places they suggested. I continued to run looking for her. I continued to run even when I bumped into people. What about, like, going to the friends' houses, like Keiichi and, there are only a few places in Himizano where we can go grocery shopping, or Mion, Shion. Shouldn't be that difficult to find her, so why couldn't I? What? I tripped on something in the street. It fell flat on the ground. Oh, Rika, no. Oh, don't hurt yourself. I injured my hand. A small rock embedded in the ground. I didn't feel much pain, even though I said ouch. It just felt hot, as if I had touched a frying pan. Suddenly, someone handed me a pretty handkerchief. Rena, tell me where she is. Rena was carrying a grocery bag. I had heard that Satoko bumps into Rena often when she goes grocery shopping. They tend to choose the same stores.
さとこちゃんは？今日は見てないよ。さとこちゃんがお買い物の日だったの？そうです。
There's only so many places she can go. This is a small town.
わからないな。今日がさとこちゃんのお買い物の日なら、絶対にスーパーひなみざわの特売日を逃さないと思うもん。
The route was going so perfect too. Don't tell me. My brain wasn't getting enough oxygen. It took me a while to understand what Rena was talking about. I understood that Rena didn't see Satoko, but that wasn't the point. They had a huge sale on the market today. There's no way that Satoko would miss that sale. She still didn't see her there? What was that supposed to mean?
何かあったの？さとこちゃん、お財布とか家の鍵でも忘れちゃったかな？
couldn't find the right words to explain. Should I tell her I feared that something bad happened to Satoko and that's why I was looking for her? I mean, Rena would understand. No, I couldn't do that. I couldn't think too deeply about why she hadn't returned home.
どうしたの？困ってるなら
We
力に
haven't
なる
even had
よ。
the festival
話して。
yet. Things can't be fucked up yet. I knew she was just trying to help me. I even thought I needed someone to help me just a few moments before. Now that she was here, I had no idea what I was supposed to say. No, that's not it. The truth is, I know. Somehow, I know. I wouldn't have to know if I was someone else. But I have to know this. Rika Furude has to know what's going on. I know it. I remember it. I knew this was coming. I have experienced a world before where Satoko suddenly disappeared. But the possibility for that happening is as low as Akusaka showing up in Hinamizawa. It only happened randomly in my other lives. This is not the first time. It happened before, too. I should see it for myself. I needed to see if I'd gotten stuck inside a devastating world again.
力になるから話して。ごめんなさいです。さよなら。あ、リカちゃん。
I started running. I couldn't pretend like I didn't know where she was. Please don't tell me that I was blessed only up to this point, that I'm about to fall back into my unfortunate fate from here on. I thought that this world was different. I thought I could move on to a happy future. I thought I would be able to defeat my deadly fate in this life. But this was just horrible. It was horrible that this was happening to this world. I was gonna say, it was getting to be too perfect. I was standing in front of the place that I hate the most in Hinamizawa. Yes, it's Satoko's real home, the Hojo residence. I'd been living with her since last fall, so this house was empty. In the beginning, she used to come back here to pick up her clothing and other necessities, but once she moved most of her stuff to my house, Satoko stayed away from this place. I don't blame her. It was a sad place for Satoko because all she could remember of it was the horrible time she spent with her uncle and aunt and the memory of her missing brother Satoshi. That's why she never wanted to come back here. But that wasn't the reason I hate the house. It's because I know it happens whenever this house becomes an issue in my life. Oh God, please. Please bless me with just one more fortune. I closed my eyes and prayed, then I slowly opened them. Yeah, fuck this house. The window was open on the second floor. I saw a faded curtain swaying inside. As soon as I saw that, my niece realized what was going on, even before my mind processed it. Oh no. The next moment I lost strength in my legs, collapsed on the ground. Saw an unfamiliar motorcycle parked by the house. I also saw laundry in a futon hanging outside. I was certain that someone was living here. It was proof that someone was living inside this house. Which is usually the uncle. It's never good when there's someone living inside this house. This was very, very bad. I knew exactly why. I knew why, but I felt like I wanted to act like I didn't know.
Rika?
Not the face!
Satoko!
Stoka went outside to take the futon in and noticed me.
Rika?
Toka looked down and forced herself to smile. I felt so sad. It wasn't just her expression. I could tell that her left cheek was red and swollen.
Satoko, こんなとこにいないで、お家へ帰
Let's
りま
go
しょうです。
home. I took her hand, but she still looked down without squeezing back.
リカ、私、今日からこっちの家で暮らそうと思います。
No, don't do that!
どうしてなのですか？
That's the worst thing you can do.
おじさんが帰ってきましたの。
Oh, bro.
それで、こ
He's
っちの
an
家で
asshole.
一緒に暮らそうって話になりまして、サトコはそんなの望んでないはずなのです。
Ignore
意地悪
him.
なおじさんなんかと一緒に住んで楽しいはずがないのです。でもどうしようもありませんわ。リカの家へ帰っても連れ戻されるだけですもの。リカに迷惑がかかってしまいますわ。
Oh, she's trying to protect Rika. But listen. Listen. She gave up with a sad smile. She looks exactly how she did 1 year ago in 1982. Her uncle only slapped her face, and she's going back to being the Satoko from 1982. Cheerful Satoko that I knew until yesterday could no longer be found. I took care of Satoko and tried to heal her wounded heart for over a year. She finally got her smile back, but her uncle took it all away with just one slap to her face. Can we fucking murder him? Broken soul can recover over time, but her damaged heart can never be fixed completely. I just took the broken pieces and put them back together. The cracks in her heart will always be there. That's why she wouldn't come with me, no matter how hard I tried to pull her hand. She couldn't get over the fear. She knew just how scary her uncle could be.
Satoko!
Poor Satoko. Poor baby. I heard a disgusting voice from inside the house. Satoko stared at the ground. Her shoulders were shaking. He's such an ass. He came out and stood right behind her.
なんでもありませんの。お友達と会っただけですのよ。
したらんどうでもええんねん。それよか風呂け。磨かんかい風呂け。わしは風呂に入りたいしちゃったなこら。
Satoko scampered back inside the house like a terrified small animal. I felt devastated as I watched her go.
遊びの約束だったかい。すまんの。ちょいと聡子は家の片付けで忙しいよ。わしは聡子のおじなんねん。ちょっと長いこと出張に出とってん。ようやくひなみ沢に戻ってきたわけなんよ。
Poison his beer. I don't know. He only showed back up because his lover went missing. In another world, I once let my hatred out on him, but then he inflicted that anger in equal turn on Satoko. So I couldn't allow the dark flame burning within my chest to reflect in my eyes. Since I couldn't make myself smile and I couldn't insult him. All I could do was give him a short bow and run away from the scene. Yeah, there was one reality. What a fucking asshole. I heard his hideous laughter from behind me. I cried as I ran away. I couldn't stop crying. I thought this was a perfect world up until today. Why was God doing this to me? It was too cruel. But I couldn't give up yet. I couldn't do anything, but I still had hope for this world. I didn't think the luck I had until yesterday was just a random thing. I went back to my house in a hurry. I needed to make a phone call. I didn't know the number because it was my first time calling the place. I looked inside the phone book. Back when there used to be phone books, and found it easily. I made a call to that number. Oishi! Please fucking do something, you stupid ass police officer. I already knew that Oishi could never save Satoko based on what I've seen in my previous lives. For him, Satoko was only a good way to get at the Sonozaki family. Her uncle is his prey in that regard too. Even if I talked to him about her situation, he would do nothing to save her. The only thing he'd tell me would be to call the child consultation center, which is gonna do fucking nothing. He left the village? Wakura? That's not anywhere near here. I thought he was staying here until Wada Nagashi.
何でも温泉宿をやってる親類にご厄介になれるとかだそうで。いやいや、羨ましいことです。え？和倉ですか？石川県ですよ。能登半島の。
No way. He told me that he was staying here until Wada Nagashi. He did say that. I thought he meant he was staying in Hinamizawa. But did he actually mean this area of the country in general? It was a meaningless question. There's no way I could get him to come here while he's enjoying his trip with his wife. Even if I can talk to him on the phone, he'll probably only tell me to call the child consultation center or something.
お泊まりの旅館は聞いてませんしね。ものすごい高級旅館だって言ってたから、多分某有名なあそこだろうなとは思うんですがね。まあ最近の宿はガードが固いから 部屋番号も知ってないと繋いでくれませんしね。
わかりました。もう電話はいいです。でも赤坂は綿流しのお祭りに来るとは言ってませんでしたか？
そうです。こちらへは能登への行きと帰りに滞在される。
Okay, well at least that's
だから
good.
先日も一泊されてくつろがれた後、すぐ立たれました。だから綿流しの直前にまたこちらへ戻ってきて滞在されると思います。あなたにお土産を買ってくると言ってましたよ。
How terrible. I thought it was too good to be true. I knew it was kind of strange for him to stay in a boring place like this. My luck seems to be turning. This might not be a surprise, though. Just like I can roll a 6 3 times in a row, I can roll a 1 3 times in a row, too. Happy things and unhappy things can happen with equal probability.
もしもし、何か伝言があるなら会った時に伝えておきますよ。
I looked at the calendar on the wall. I didn't know when he was coming back, but I was certain he wouldn't be for at least one more week. I thought back to the past to try and remember what happened. That guy will break Satoko apart in 1 week. I couldn't wait that long. I had to give up on seeking help from Akasaka. Well, that's okay. I still had one more option. One more person I could rely on.
いえ、いなければいいのです。ありがとうですよ。
I was gonna say,
ニパー。
Keiichi tried to save Satoko in that one chapter. However, it did not work out. I'd have to talk to him in person. I put my shoes on and headed to the Irie clinic. Oh, so she's gonna try to get help from the doctor. Clinic's hours were over for the day. There was usually no one here after that. However, since Tometake was here, they should still be inside the building for a meeting. They had to be there. The front door of the clinic was locked as I expected. I went around to the back door and rang the bell. The whole clinic is nervous when Tometake is around. They usually ignore visitors, but I'm special.
どうしましたか？緊急の要件と聞きました。
私まで用とあっては穏やかな話ではなさそうね。
Irie and Takano showed up soon after I was taken to the visitor's room. If Rika Furude had an emergency, then it's a priority for these two people. So I'm the most important person in this village.
ひょっとして例の件ですか？誰かに狙われているという。
あなたの近辺は常時山犬の中でも特に優秀な連中が警護してくれているわ。あなたとあの日した約束をちゃんと守っているわよ。
I had no doubt about that. They saved me right away when we had that confrontation with those 3 delinquents the other day.
いえ、そうではないのです。お願いがあるのです。実は聡子の危機を救ってあげてほしいのです。
聡子ちゃんに何かあったんですか？
Irie doesn't have that much power alone, even if he really wants to save her. But Takano controls the mountain dogs, so she does have that power. In my previous lives, I was never able to get help from the mountain dogs because I wasn't on good terms with Takano. But this world is different. I have a better relationship with her in this life, and she even kept that promise she made. I trust their ability completely now.
あの北条哲平さんがですか？なんてことでしょう。
I was mainly Satoko's aunt who was abusing her last year, but Irie knows that her uncle was violent with her too. I told them that Satoko had gone back to the same condition she was in the
このままで
previous
は
year.
いつ何があるのかわかりませんです。聡子を助け出すために力を貸してほしいのです。
Poor Satoko. Irie seems to want to do something for her, but he didn't know exactly what to do.
こういうのはどうすればいいんでしょう。やはり警察に相談した方がいいでしょうか。
さてどうかしら。現時点では親権者が現れて聡子ちゃんを保護しただけよ。聡子ちゃんが大怪我でもしたというならともかく、そういうわけではないんでしょう。
She did get
そんなのは
slapped
時間の問題
really
なのです。
hard.
このままでは大変なことになってしまうのです。
I hate to say that it's only a matter of time. I knew how she was going to get abused and how she was going to end up. I've seen it in the past. I really wanted to tell them about it, but I couldn't do that. As it hasn't happened in this world yet, they just think I was imagining it.
多分こういうのはまず
That's what everyone says, but they don't do anything.
そういえば以前、さとこちゃんが児童相談所に虚偽の通報をしたなんてことがありましたね。ちゃんと話を聞いてくれるといいのですが。
The answer is no. My friends contacted the Child Consultation Center several times in the past, but Stoko always refuses their help. She claims that she isn't being abused. Stoko from 1983 might have asked for their help, but currently she was the Toko from 1982. For her, living with her uncle reminds her of the time when Satoshi was around. She feels like Satoshi will come back if she can live strongly, without always relying on her brother. Even if the Child Consultation Center were to take the case seriously, it's just too late. I try to remember. In the most recent world I experienced, it only took a few days when Satoko was kidnapped by her uncle. It only took a few days for him to tear her heart apart. He had no time to waste. We needed to take action quickly.
さとこちゃん自身が助けを求めてくれないことには助けようがないのが悔しいです。
入江先生の方から警察やお役所に連絡することもできるとは思うけど、そこまでが限界ね。気の毒とは思うけど。違う
のです。違うのです。高野の力で里子を助け出してほしいのです。
When he was talking, they looked shocked and both went quiet. They didn't expect me to seek help from Takano.
それは強硬的な手段に訴えろということですか？
僕はそういうお願いをしに今日ここへ来ていますのです。そうでなければこんな時間に押しかけたりしませんです。
お気持ちはわかります。ですが、
入江、里子を大事に思うならどうか一生のお願いなのです。里子を助けてくださいなのです。里子はあと何日もしないうちに本当にひどいことになってしまいます。それは決まっていることなのです。もうしばらく様子を見てみようでは見殺しにするのと全く同じなのです。入江は去年の里子をもう忘れてしまったのですか？もうそうなっているのです。今この瞬間にも。そしてあと数日で取り返しのつかないことになってしまうのです。
All I could do was stare at him. Believing that Irie could see the future, only I knew the tragic end awaiting Satoko reflected in my eyes. Irie remained silent for too long a time to call brief. Someone trying to think of some excuse to avoid this issue wouldn't go silent otherwise. He was recalling Satoko's terrible state last year, and seriously considering my plea was as urgent as I made it out to be. I know that he really cares about her. That's why I need his help.
どうしようかしらね。
You're right, kidnap her and keep her at the clinic until her uncle fucking gets alcohol poisoning. I don't know.
高野さん。
Alright. Irie nodded and looked up. I guess he finally came to a conclusion. I just hope it's a positive one.
リカちゃんの頼みを聞いてあげてください。去年、さとこちゃんに何の手も差し伸べられなかった無力さに
Poison his
悩んだ
drink.
ことがあります。
That's like the easiest thing I feel like you can
その
do.
時
I don't
傍
know.
観して手を尽くさなかった
They would just
私
call
は
it alcohol poisoning or
罪を滅
something.
ぼす唯一のチャンスだと思います。
しかしそうはおっしゃいますけれど。
Takano didn't think that Irie would make that decision. She seemed shocked to hear his response.
当施設の責任者として正式に高野さんに
In this case, it's a
お願いしたいと思います。
matter of her health and
さとこちゃんを
safety, and he is
ど
the
うか助けてあ
doctor.
げてください。
So
入江先生、助けるという言葉がどういう意味か少し分かりかねます。どうか落ち着いてください。
さとこちゃんは我々にとって欠かすことのできない存在です。これまでもそしてこれからも我々の研究に最大限貢献するでしょう。本件は高野さんの職務に 含まれるものとお察しします。
We continued the talk and I tried to
所
persuade
長
him.
入江京介としてお願いいたします。高野さん、どうか里子ちゃんを救ってください。
I stared into Takano's eyes together with him.
高野も聡子と仲良しだったはずです。
Use the guilt trip.
聡
Do
子の
it.
友人として助けてあげてくださいです。
助けてくださいという言い方がお二人とも実に偽善的ね。聡子ちゃんをさらって永遠に監禁するわけじゃないんでしょ。聡子ちゃんにこれまでと同じ生活を送らせるために救うのでしょ。それはつまり叔父の方を摘出せよというご命令ですわよね。
卑怯な言い方をすれば妖精に対しどう対処するかを決
Or
定する
drive
権
him
限
away
が
somehow.
高野さんにあります。でもそれが卑怯ならば私がはっきりそれを口にしても構いません。
入江先生、いえ入江所長、そのご命令を実行すれば私は無論、そして入江所長も責任を問われることになりますが、その覚悟は終わりですか？
I looked at his face. Unlike me, Irie has many things to lose. I knew that Takano's words would shake him emotionally. However, Irie was determined.
ええ、構いません。申し開きをする場へ引き出されても自身の心を裏切るよ
At
り
least she'll be
はる
alive.
かにマシです。
Even if he goes to jail, at least
多
she'll be
門がどうい
alive.
うものかもご存じないのに大した虚勢だことで。
高野さんが上手にやってくだされば東京に知られずに済みます。それで誰もが円満に決着できませんか？
リスクばかりで見返りのない仕事ね。
高野が望むなら神社の宝物を他にもたくさん
The
見せてあ
treasure
げま
is
す
that
です。
we
もう見せる
save
のを
her
意地悪したり
life.
しないです。
What do you mean?
だから
What do you
今回だ
mean?
け助けてほしいのです。
The risk she's taken is larger than the reward I'm offering. But that's about the only thing I can offer her. I don't care about the traditions of the British Shrine as long as I can save my friend from her suffering.
わかりました。これじゃ私が悪者みたいだものね。
She forced a smile and accepted the favor I asked her
あ
for.
りがとう高野さん。
どういう風に助けるかは一任いただきます。具体的なプランは後でお好みと相談します。
後ではダメです。今でないとダメなのです。
She promised to save Satoko, but she still wasn't motivated for it. It'd be too late if she didn't do something right now. I tried to make Takano understand that this is an urgent matter.
そうですね。リカちゃんもそして私も今この場でしっかり納得のい
All
く
it
決着
takes
が
is
つくことを願っています。
one
こんな時間に
moment
せかして申し訳ありませんが
and
どうかお
something
願いでき
fucking
ませんか？
irreversible.
二人ともさとこちゃんのこととなると目の色が違うんだから。
Shit
わかりま
happens
した。
quick.
少し待たせるかもしれませんがお待ちくださ
無理を聞いてくれてありがとう。
い。いいえいいえ、私の給与査定者の頼みですもの。笑顔でお引き受けいたしますわ。リカちゃんはさっきの約束絶対に忘れないでよ。
きっとなのです。神社に来た時はおまんじゅうとお茶もつけますのです。
Takano smiled slightly and left the room. Once we finally heard her footsteps fade away, the tension in the room dissolved. Irie offered me something to drink, but I refused. He must have thought everything was taken care of, but I couldn't relax until Satoko was physically returned to
い
me.
りえ、聡子ですが、お薬とかは大丈夫なのですか？おじは聡子が逃げ出すと思って家から出さないと思いますから、もうここへ来ることはできないと思います。
幸いなことに先週まとめて針と薬を渡してあります。ですのでしばらくは問題ないでしょう。ただ強い精神負担は薬でも抑えきれません。少しずつ追い詰められいつか取り返しのつかないことになるでしょう。
そのいつかというのはほんの数日後の話なのです。
Takano hadn't come back yet. I thought it would be bad news if she came back too early, but I started feeling nervous after she had taken so long. Harry insisted that I go home because it was getting very late. I couldn't go home and relax, however, until I heard from her that everything was taken care of. I had to wait for her to come back. I needed to deal with this tension until then. Over an hour later, Takano finally returned.
お待たせ。
ああ、いかがでしたか？
She was looking for the right words. I got a very bad feeling from her reaction alone.
残念だけど、簡単にいかなくなったわ。
どうしてですか？
つい最近、沖宮で殺人事件があったらしいの。その事件に何らかの関与があると疑って、北条哲平を警察がマークしてるらしいわね。
事件？何ですかそれは？
間宮とかいう女が園崎家の上納金に手を出して見せしめに殺されたとかなんとかで、警察が北条家と園崎家の関係に慎重になったらしいのよ。その女はどうも北条哲平と実婚らしい。綿流しも近いしね。お社様のたたりの5年目をなんとか阻止したい警察が、北条哲平が今年の犠牲者じゃないかとマークして釣り糸を垂らしてるって話みたい。
釣り糸って何なんですか？
北条哲平をマークしてれば、お社様のたたりの真犯人を釣り上げられると睨んでるのよ。
なんてことだ。では
リカちゃん、本当に申し訳ないんだけど、警察のマークが外れるまで山犬には手の出しようがない。
そんな、山犬の方ならもっと困難な任務でもこなせるでしょうに。
それは入念な準備と計画に基づき、しかるべき機を見ての話です。通常は長い監視期間を設け、その上でタイミングを測ります。同等の任務なら半年から1年をかけるところです。今更言うことではありませんが、私たちは決して日の当たるところへ出ることができない存在です。日の元へ出たならば灰になる存在なのです。だからマークされ眩しく照らし出された今の状態では近づくことすらできない。
ではいつならその木だと言うんですか？
最も早くて綿流しの後ね。多分綿流しが終われば警察もマークを解くかもしれない。
But that's like a week. A full week. I didn't even know if it was a day after or a year after. She also said it usually takes at least 6 months to prepare this kind of mission. That's too long. I thought this world was different. But that hope was slipping through my fingers.
ではどうすれば里子ちゃんを救えると言うんですか？
日の当たる世界では日の当たる世界のルールで解決するのが筋かと思います。例えば警察へ相談する、児童相談所に相談する、学校へ相談するのも方法かもしれません。
それは何度もやったけど無駄だった。
I never expected me to raise my voice. In fact, I didn't think myself that I would react this way. But I couldn't keep my emotions in check after Takano suggested all those meaningless solutions.
私はお前たちにずっと協力してきた。何の見返りも求めず、ただただこの身を捧げて協力してきた。それなのにどうして里子の一人だけが救えないというのか。あれだけの力を持ちながらどうして里子を救うことにのみ臆病なのか。何の力にもならない警察や役所、そして利用するだけして何も助けてくれないお前たち。もういい、もういい。私はよくわかった。この世界が袋小路だということがよくわかった。もうお前たちには興味ない。この世界にも未練はない。そうさ、あれだけの幸運に恵まれても結局私はこの運命から逃れられなかった。そうさそうさ、またいつもの運命。お前は山奥で焼かれて死ね。お前は睡眠薬で自ら死ね。そして私は当然のようにまた死のう。どういう殺され方をするのか未だに知らず命を散らそう。ここは運命の袋小路、行き止まり。 私は生まれた時から殺されるために生かされている運命の家畜。みんな死ね死ね、みんな死ね。どうせ終わる世界なんだ。消えてしまえ。うわ
Can't put words to my emotions anymore, and I started to cry. I was so lucky up until yesterday. I had so much hope in my heart, but it had all been for nothing. I felt like everything was falling apart. It always fucking happens. I've lived for more than 100 years. I've lived longer than a normal human lifetime. I thought I was blessed with good fortune for the first time in my life. This would never happen to me again. I thought a miracle had occurred, but everything was shattered. I cried and cursed this world. I needed to give up on my life as soon as possible. Stogo would be waiting for me with a smile in my next one. I wanted to go see her. But what would happen to the Satoko in this world? What would happen if I abandoned her? I didn't know, and I didn't care. Satoko, 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 Satoko. I'm a witch who has lived for 100 years, but I still couldn't rid myself of the human emotions in my heart. Damn. I didn't get anything to eat because Satoko was supposed to be making dinner tonight. But I didn't have an appetite anyway, so I figured I should just go to bed. I still had to make lunch for the next day, though. Satoko might come to school tomorrow. I rinsed the rice, hoping that I wouldn't have to waste the lunch that I was making for the two of us. I had to stop thinking like that. I already knew it was a waste to make her lunch. I already knew that Satoko wasn't coming to school ever again. I felt so miserable while rinsing the rice that tears started dropping into it as I thought about her. Why was this happening in this world? I thought everything changed when Keiichi gave that doll to Mion. In that world, Mion pretended to be her sister for a week and got closer to Keiichi. But that wasn't happening this time. I thought we would be having a good time until the festival. Huh? That's odd. Wasn't that club activity 2 weeks before Wada Nagashi? I had realized something. The club activity was exactly the same, but it happened 1 week earlier than in the world I knew of. It was 1 week earlier than in my previous life. I get it now. I thought I was familiar with this world, but it was actually a different one where the events are mixed up. That means that even though Keiichi gave the doll to Mion, that didn't solve everything. I thought I was getting lucky. I was confident that everything was going to be okay. Stopped making an effort. I knew that there was a possibility that Satoko's uncle was coming back, but I let her go do the grocery shopping. I would have been more careful and kept her home if I knew he was coming back to get her. I should be careful in my next life. But there wouldn't be a next life that was so fortunate. I didn't get lucky that often. Even if I locked Satoko inside the closet, it would be over if Rena's father messed up something or if Keiichi lost his mind. I have to clear up everything that's not within my reach, and I also have to make the best effort I can. Without that, I can't overcome the fate of 1983. In this life, I may be able to overcome my deadly fate with Takano's help, but Satoko will not be there in my future. That defeats the whole purpose. My goal is to survive this year while laughing with my best friends. I don't want to sacrifice Satoko in order to survive. I don't want to live in a world without her. I was blessed with all this fortune, but I still couldn't defeat my destiny. I ruined everything because I stopped working so hard. I will never again have a lucky life like this. I lost my first and only chance. Poor Rika. I cried and scratched at the floor. I didn't know if I should curse my fate or curse myself for not putting forth enough effort. Before I realized it, Hanyu was standing in front of me. I didn't know how long she had been there. She just stared down at me with a look of pity on her face.
Hanyu, あんたの言いたいことは分かってる。だから運命に期待するなと言った。でしょ。期待するななんて酷な話よ。あれだけ全てに恵まれた。サイコロを振る前から6が出ると確信できる世界なんて初めてだった。あれだけの勢いがあれば きっと打ち破れると信じた。それでもあんたはあのおもちゃ屋の時からずっと言ってたわね。期待しすぎるなと。
She probably felt something strange at the toy store that day. She realized that the date was 1 week off and this was not the same world that I knew. She realized early on that I still shouldn't be too excited about this life.
僕もリカと一緒にいて短くないのです。だからリカに聞かれると思って先に言いますです。僕にも今日の運命など分かりませんでしたです。ただ僕から助言できるのはただ一つ。この世の運命なんて秋の空より気まぐれで一喜一憂するにも当たらない歳時に過ぎないということなのです。
There are 6 sides on a die. That's the reality of it. It doesn't mean that the 6 is the best number either. I should just take any number that I roll. I shouldn't be disappointed if I roll a 1 a few times in a row. It's pathetic how I thought rolling a 6 was the best result you could obtain.
100年ちょいを生きるくらいじゃそこまで悟るなんて難しいわね。でもリカ、僕も何度か言いましたが、今回の世界は奇跡ではありませんです。我慢強く待てばきっとまた巡ってくる世界なのです。
How long is she supposed to wait for that though? It's been 100 years.
それは何十年後、何百年後の話なの。
That's what I'm saying.
もう私たちには力は残っていない。
Say she's running out of time.
再び世界をやり直しても昭和58年の6月より前へは戻れない。それどころ
And
か
she's running out of like
戻れる
will
時間
to
は
keep
どんどん
going
短くなっていく。
because of
そ
how
んな
many
短い日
times
々
she's had to repeat
再び
this.
奇跡が起こるまでずっとずっと繰り返せというの。数年を繰り返す世界ですら狂ってしまいそうになるというのに、たった 1,2 週間の世界を再び奇跡が起こるまで永遠に生き続けろというの。無理よ、無理無理、絶対無理。
I was betting on this world. I bet all of my coins on this one world. And I lost. I lost all of my coins to this fate. I have no more coins left in my heart. That's what she said at the beginning. These coins are known as hope. I have no coins left to hope for my dreams to come true.
リカ。
I lay on the floor as if I collapsed. The floor should have been cold, but I didn't feel anything.
これが希望をすべて
She
打ち
said this will
砕かれ
be
ると
probably
いう
the
ことね。
last time. If she doesn't win this time, then she's gonna lose all of her hope for it. I always thought people could survive as long as they had some bread and water, but that's not right. People can't live without hope. It's true. People can survive because they believe that something good will happen to them eventually, as long as they keep on living. Ow! That's just for normal people who don't know what awaits them in their future. There is no such hope for a witch like me.
もう何もかもがどうでもいい。この世界だけじゃない。これからの世界もすべてどうでもいい。このまま灰になってしまえたら。リカ、そんなことを言ってはダメなのです。リカ。
100 fucking years. Honey's voice gradually fades away. I slowly lost my senses. I lay down on the kitchen floor and let myself sink into the darkness. 100 fucking years. She repeated time to try to save herself and everyone. Because that's the thing. She says, like, she does it to escape her fate and to escape her death. But that's not the whole truth of it. Hang on. The whole truth of it is that she's trying to save everyone. And that's why this reality is so, like, impossible. Because of the way the tragedy happens. There's always something that goes wrong. Like, someone dies, someone goes psychotic, someone commits suicide. Like, there's always something, and she can't save everyone. And it seems like every time something goes right, something always goes wrong. And it doesn't matter when it happens. Because usually it happens after the festival, but sometimes things happen before. Oh, God. I just want to give her a fucking hug, dude. Like, And Satoko is literally, like, her lifeline. Like, that's her best friend. I honestly would say, like, they're, like, soulmates in a way. Whether platonically or not platonically, that's for speculation because of the fact that, like, Rika's aged so long, but she's still so, like, tied to her. It's a different kind of relationship, but without Satoko, like, she has no hope at all. Oh, God. Oh, God. Ugh. I do kind of want to see a, like, costume of Rika in a witch outfit, though, because she keeps calling herself a witch, but you're right, make a Rika witch cosplay. Oh my God, I'm actually crying. I'm actually fucking crying. Okay, I can do it. I can do this. I'm a strong witch. I can do it. I dragged my body to school, hoping that Satoko might be there. But just as I expected, there was no one sitting in her seat. God, it's so fucking sad. Although we're devastated. Hold on, I can't read. I'm crying. Just seeing it empty. I had nothing left to bet on. All I could do was get hurt and suffer devastation. God. Why is this the route that fucking breaks me? Oh my God. I've been through all the other routes. I've been through how many, like, terrible, like, circumstances, and this is the one that makes me fucking bawling. It's probably because I like Rika so much, and her fate is just so tragic. I had nothing left to bet on. All I could do was get hurt and suffer devastation. Blood flowed from my broken heart and found its way through my eyes in the form of tears. Yeah, my fucking friend is being abused and is going to fucking die. Whole class was wondering why I came in late today and why Satoko wasn't there. But even if I felt sympathy from everyone's eyes on me, I didn't feel any promise. No one here was able to save Satoko. No one could save her. Why should I have to keep smiling at all these useless people? This world is finished anyway. If I leave matters alone, then a few days after Watanagashi Festival, my movie reel will be cut as I'm murdered like usual, and I'll return to the beginning of this month again. So I'll continue to live forever in June 1983, trapped here. Even death won't set me free from that prison.
何かあったなら話してください。北条さんは今日はどうしたんですか？風邪でお休みですか？うるさいな。
She said what she fucking said. The whole class gasped. No one expected Rika Furude to talk like that. I myself made such blunt statements a few times in several past worlds, but it was always the first time anyone in that world heard anything like that. It must have been very easy for them, and I envied it. Kei was standing there dumbfounded. I stood up from my seat. Satoko wasn't around. I didn't want to be locked up inside of this humid place.
帰るわ。
I'm not coming here anymore. Goodbye. I felt like saying something like that. However, I retained a small hope that Satoko might go to school the next day, so I kept it to myself. However, Chie wouldn't let me go. She grabbed me by the arm and dragged me to the teacher's office instead. Listen here! Chie took me to this seat on the couch by the principal's office. She had no right to tell me what to do. I could just escape through the open window. As I didn't have that kind of energy, however, I sat on the couch as she told me to. I realized that I didn't have the energy to be rebellious. Maybe Satoko felt the same. She lost the energy to rebel and she was simply obeying her uncle.
Furude-san, 何があったか話してください。先生はきっと力になります。
You've tried. You've already failed. Chie spoke to me, but I already knew that her words were empty. All she could do was call the Child Consultation Center. She wouldn't go to the Hojo residence and pull Satoko out of there. So there was no point in even discussing the topic with her. If I told her, she wouldn't keep it to herself. And shortly everyone would know about what was happening with Satoko. That would only result in chaos. If they call the child consultation center, the staff from there will go and visit Satoko. Her uncle will deny the abuse. Satoko will also deny it because of the guilt she feels over Satoshi leaving. Shortly after, they'll find out about the false reports Satoko made before, and they'll decide to not proceed any further. Her uncle will allow Satoko to go to school for a few days, but this abuse will get worse because he'll think she's the one who called the child consultation center. He'll do horrible things to her just like her aunt did last year. Calling the child consultation center will not help Satoko. It will instead put her in an even worse situation. It's better not to notify them at all. But if we don't report it, then how else is this world supposed to improve? No, nothing is going to change. There's nothing that can be done once this unfortunate fate overtakes Satoko.
北条さんのおじさんが？それは本当ですか？
I had somehow answered all of Chie's questions without noticing. I knew that nothing would change whether I spoke to her or not. So I just told her everything, because I had no energy to rebel.
だいたい状況は分かりました。大変なことになりましたね。で、そこまで知って、あなたは何ができるの？
He answered right away without faltering, already used to my spiteful tone.
今日夕方に家庭訪問に行ってみます。まずはさとこちゃんに会って事情を聞いてみます。それで問題があるならば、児童相談所に相談するって言うんでしょう。さとこは過去に嘘の通報をした記録が残ってると思うからね。虐待の確たる証拠がないと動いてくれないわ。人が殺されるまで捜査をしてくれない警察と全く同じよ。さとこが殺されるまで相談所は動いてなんかくれない。そうすると相談所も学校もこう言うの？いじめの兆候は全くなかった。普段は明るくて全く予見できなかったって誰かが用意してくれたコメントを読み上げるみたいに同じことを言うのよね。
Oh my god. Man, she's really fucking losing it.
バカばっかね。そこはきっと相談所の人が何とかしてくれると思います。私も
They fucking
北条さんの
won't.
救助を
She's
しっかり
tried how
訴
many
えます。
times? You've done the same in previous lives too. I wasn't denying her passion, but I couldn't say that there was meaning to it. The problem wasn't with Chie. The problem was with them. No matter how hard Chie tried to seek help from child services, it meant nothing as long as they had biased notions about Satoko.
虐待の痕跡があるかどうかなんて関係ないじゃないですか。
I suddenly heard a voice from the hallway. Shion's voice. Chie shouted, "Who's there?" and I heard Mion gasping, "Crap." They must have been listening to our conversation. They were having a quiet discussion outside the door, but Shion accidentally raised her voice. She gets so violent sometimes. 4 people entered into the room for the hallway. Mion, Shion, Keiichi, and Rena.
自習だと言ったはずですよ。委員長は皆さんを連れて教室に戻りなさい。そんな場合じゃないです。さとこに何かあったら先生、どう責任を取るつもりなんですか？取れないでしょ。ひよってる場合じゃないです。すぐに行動を起こさなきゃダメです。おねんのバカとかは虐待のちゃんとした証拠がないとむしろ事態を悪化させかねないとか言ってますけど、そんな証拠が残った後じゃ遅いんです。ミオンはさとこを見殺しにする気？そこまで言ってないよ。さっきも言ったようにさとこには過去に虐待 SOS に嘘の通報電話をした経験があって、それ以来マークされてるんだよ。だからしっかりした証拠がなければ必ず訪問調査だけして様子見ってことになる。それはどういうことか考えなよ。おじの怒りに油を注ぐだけ。
Yep.
さとこを余計追い詰めるだけなんだよ。
That's exactly right.
くそ、なんだよそれはよ。何かある前に手を施すのが救うってことだろ。さとこに致命的な虐待の痕跡が刻印されるまで放置しろってのか？
みんな落ち着いて。私も しーちゃんやケイイチくんと同じ意見。何かあるまで様子を見ようなんてのは絶対思わない。なら何ができるのかを考えなくちゃ。
何かってなんだ。児童相談所に相談することだろう。絶対に助けてくれるならいいが、様子見になる確率が高いってミオンはそう言ってるわけだろ。
うん。悔しいけど昨年がそうだったように今年もそうなる可能性が極めて高い。しかも今年は昨年に比べたら状況がまだまだ甘いの。去年は聡子が十分に追い詰められている状態だった。でも今回はまだ叔父に連れ去られて1日しか経ってない。しかも叔父は1年間放置していたとはいえ親権を持ってるし。
そんな回りくどいことなんか必要ないでしょ。
そんな野郎待ち伏せてぶっ殺してやればいい。
Damn, she said what she said. They've done that before,
そん
though.
なのダメ。サトシ君はそ
Well,
んなのを絶
I
対に
think
喜ばないよ。
Keiichi did that. I think he was the one that murdered him.
どうやって
It's
助
been
け
a
れ
minute.
ばいいんです。
Anyways,
サトシ君に頼まれ
it
た。サトコ
it
を
didn't
頼
do
まれた。
anything to save her situation
サトコ
in
に
the
何
end
かあったら
because
サトシ
it
君に顔向けて
caused other things to happen and the
サ
tragedy
トコ
still
がいじめ
happened.
抜かれた後じゃないと手が打てないなんて
Anyways.
そんなの方法じゃない。
Tea
目の前で
time.
現在進
Thank
行してい
you.
る
I
犯罪
really,
が
really
ま
need
だ
it
通報す
after
るの。
crying. I'm dehydrated. Thank you.
違うでしょ。止めなきゃ。私たちの手で自ら止めなきゃ。落ち着きなよシオン。おねえ、その先本家の闘士でしょ。
Yeah, pull some
本家の
strings.
力でサトコを助けて
That's
よ。
what I'm saying.
できるでしょ。
Right.
サトコ一人を助けるくらいの力は十分にあるでしょうね。分かってるよ。ダム戦争で遺恨が残る北条家には一切関わらないって鬼ババの方針なんでしょ。サトコがどうなろうと見て見ぬふりというのがその先本家の方針なんでしょ。児童相談所に助けられなくてその先家にも助けら
But
れない
it's
なら
not Satoko's fault that she's a Hojo. She didn't have any relation to that incident at
サ
all.
トコを不幸にするやつはぶっ殺してやる。今すぐ殺してやる。この場からサトコの家まで行って刺し殺すのに1500秒もかからないんだから。あんたたちには1500秒で何ができる？何もできないでしょ。私が助ける。私がサトコを助けるの。話してよ話してよ。今から殺しに行くんだから。シオンさん、お静かになさい。物騒なことをこれ以上言うと怒りますよ。
They were desperately discussing how to save her. I just sat on the couch and stared at them vaguely. I had seen the same discussion many times in many different situations. I was tired of listening to it. The only difference was that everything was happening a few days earlier than usual.
リカ、大丈夫。もう何にも期待なんかしないから。期待なんてどこにも残ってない。
Rika. Anya made a sad expression. I couldn't tell if she was sad about our fate or if she was just taking pity on me. This poor fucking... Oh my god. Just as she promised, Chie went to Satoko's house after school. It had only been a day since Satoko's uncle took her away. She wouldn't be able to tell if he'd heard her already or not. If the students hadn't made such a big fuss about it, Chie would have waited a couple of days before going to her house. She already knew, however, about what happened to Satoko the previous year. She also knew that her uncle was abusing her just like her aunt, and that he had neglected to act as her guardian for the whole year. Considering those factors, it might not have been too soon for her to visit the Hojo residence. Satoko hadn't showed up at school that day. No one called the school to explain her absence. That alone was proof that her uncle wasn't taking responsibility as her guardian. Chie was going to her house to see what was going on with her own eyes. She parked the car on the street and checked the map she brought from the school. It said Hojo residence on the sign in front of the house. Chie was certain that this has to be the right place. The window on the second floor was open and she could see a curtain hanging there. From that window, she could hear the laughing voices of several old men. No one had answered the phone when she called right before leaving the school. She could also hear the clicking noises of mahjong tiles along with the voices. She had never played mahjong before, but had a pretty good idea that it was from the way the men were talking. If they were playing mahjong, they must have been 3 other men inside the house. Her students had told her that Stoka's uncle was a very violent man. She was a teacher, true, but she was also just a young lady. She felt hesitant to ring the doorbell after hearing their disgusting laughter. I think she's like in her 20s or something, but courage drove her forward. She made her decision and rang the doorbell. She heard the bell ring inside the house. The laughing voices continued to echo from the second floor. It seemed as if they didn't hear the bell. She rang the bell again, and this time the laughter stopped for a moment. Someone must have heard the sound. Soon after, they started laughing again. It didn't sound like anyone was coming to get the door. She thought someone heard the bell, but perhaps not. She was sure they were home, of course. She couldn't just leave just because no one was answering the door. She knocked and yelled loudly this time.
こんにちは。北条さん、いらっしゃいませんか？
Finally, the laughter stopped, and a man with a scary look on his face opened the door.
なんじゃいね踊れは。やかましかとっととうせえ。
She felt intimidated by him, but her heart was filled with teacher's pride and responsibility.
こんにちは。北条さんでいらっしゃいますか？私。
Before she could introduce herself, Tepe screamed at her.
やかましか。新聞も牛乳も保険も間に合っとんねん。わしゃ今むっちゃ忙しいよ。仕事中じゃいねん。
People in the room laughed when he told her he was working. He's literally gambling and probably drinking. Che wouldn't give up. She continued to speak.
私、ひなみ沢文庫教諭の千恵と申します。北条聡子さんはいらっしゃいますか？
なあ、なんじゃよ踊れ。なんで踊りに里子合わせにはならんねん。
今日、北条さんが学校をお休みしましたけれど、連絡がなかったもので、何かあったのかと思いお伺いさせていただきました。
ああ、学校？
はい。聡子ちゃんはいますか？ちょっとお話ししたいことがあるのですが。
ああ、風邪なんね。そうそう。里子は風邪で熱出してるんですわ。
プリントとかをお渡ししたいので、ちょっとだけお話しすることはできませんか？
ドアホ。踊れ話聞いてなかったんかい。里子は風邪じゃ。うなっとるんね。それを合わせられるかいボケ。
そうですか。明日は登校できそうですか？
知るかいな。そんなもん明日になってみなきゃわからんわ。このクソボケ。
そうですか。わかりました。では、聡子ちゃんによろしくお伝えください。失礼します。
She felt bad, but by the time she lifted her head, Tepe was no longer there. Kei returned to the school. Several students emerged from the classroom. They were Keiichi, Rena, Mion, and Shion. Rika was also still inside the classroom, but she wouldn't come outside.
先生、どうでしたか？
The same way it goes every
聡子のとこに
time.
行ってきたんですよね。皆さん、それが聞きたくて待っていたんですか？
千恵先生、聡子はどうでしたか？無事でしたか？
それが会わせてもらえませんでした。あんた何しに行ったんですか？教師ですよ。ガキの使いじゃないんです。会えませんでした、そうですかで帰ってきちゃ意味ないじゃないですか。やめなよシオン。そんなこともあるだろうって予想できたことだよ。どうせ聡子の顔に青技があるに決まってます。だから合わせられないんです。そこは無理やり押しのけても家の中に踏み入るくらいしなきゃダメなんです。だからもう先生なんて信用できないって言いました。本当にごめんなさい。やめなよしーちゃん。 先生はできる範囲の最善を尽くしてくれたよ。
だがこれで本当にはっきりしたな。その聡子のおじってやつが聡子を家に閉じ込めているってのはどうやら間違いないみてえだ。
そんなの確かめる前から分かってます。リカちゃまがそうだって昼間からずっと言ってるじゃないですか。それを確かめるだけに半日費やしたんですよ。それでどうするんですか？どうやって聡子を助けるつもりですか？だから落ち着きなって。それをみんなで考えようよ。シオンが聡子のことを大事だと思うように私たちだって大事に思ってる。決して見殺しになんかしない。私たちにできることを考えようよ。そうですね。私はもう考えて提案しましたよ。私がたった一人で今日中に決着できるものすごくお手軽な方法です。死体を隠すとこだけお姉の力を借りますが。
だからしーちゃん、物騒な話をするのはやめて。しーちゃんは人殺しのことを簡単に考えすぎなの。人を殺せば解決できるなんて考え方はおよそ思いつく考えの中で最低の最低、本当の最低のことなの。
なら他に提案をしてみてくださいよ。私の提案が最低の最低なら私よりほんのちょっぴり上等な程度でいいですから代案を聞かせてください。ほらほら、何も言えないじゃないですか。私なら1500秒で聡子を救える。お姉の力なんか借りられなくてもいい。死体なんか私が引きずって鬼ヶ淵の沼にでも放り込んでやる。ほら提案してくださいよ。これより早くてすぐに聡子を救える方法を。
だからそうじゃないの。一人で悩んだらそんなことしか考えられないの。ならはっきり言ってあげるよ。1500秒かかりすぎでしょ、そんなの。私なら1000秒かけないよ。しーちゃんなんかみたいにぐちぐち言わずに黙って教室を出て行ってもう実行してるよ。なんでそうしないと思う？昔誰かに教えられたことがあるの。たとえそれしか方法がなかったとしても殺人に訴えるのはいけないこと、正しいことじゃない。
It's really funny coming from
最善手なん
her,
かじゃないの。
considering she has murdered in
そ
past
れしかないと思ってしまうことが一人で悩むことの限界なの。
long time ago. I don't know who told me this. Oh my god. I didn't know we were talking. I didn't know who told me this, but someone taught it to me. If there's something that troubles you, you can't think about it all on your own. You can't think about your own solution as the best
みんな
for
で考え
everyone.
る。みんなで悩む。確かに今この瞬間はしーちゃんの短絡的な提案に対する提案をできないけど、私たちがみんなで考えれば絶対にそれよりいい解決策が見つけられるよ。
いいとか悪いとかの問題じゃないです。1分1秒でも無駄な時間を費やせば聡子がどんな乱暴されるか考えればいいじゃないですか。北条って姓がそんなに憎らしい。サトシ君や聡子がどんなに辛くても誰も手を差し伸べないの。私が助ける。ご託なんてもうたくさん。そこをどいてよ。そこまで言うなら今から行ってくる。あいつをサクッと殺して聡子を助け出してくる。
ダメだよしーちゃん。しーちゃん、
お前たちは呪ってろ。自分たちの無力さをいつまでも。そしてより集まって思いつきもしない妙案を議論し合えばいい。そうして聡子のために何かしているという免罪符を得ながら聡子を看板に見殺しにしていけばいい。あんたたちは誰も聡子のことを大事に思ってないんだ。聡子のことなんか遊び友達だとしか思ってないんだ。私は違う。聡子は友達以上家族だとすら思ってる。あんたたちとは聡
That's
子を大事
right.
に思う
Because
心
of
が
her
違うの。
relationship with Satoshi,
じゃあね、殺して
she
くるね。
promised that she would take care of her. For
さよう
him.
なら。
待ちな。
何を邪魔する気ですか？
シオン、お前レナの言ったことが半分も理解できてねえだろ。
半分どころかお釣りが来るくらいに理解してますよ。殺しをするほんのちょっとの度胸があればすぐに救えるのに、それを綺麗事でごまかす偽善の話ですよね。
シオン、お前が人殺しをしてまでサトコを救ったとして、サトコは感謝すると思ってるのか？
感謝が欲しいわけじゃないです。別に私は差し違えてもいい。それでサトコが幸せになれるなら本望なんですから。
違うな。口先の威勢はなかなかいいが、お前には差し違える度胸なんかありゃしねえな。その証拠に、お前はさっきミオンに死体を隠すのを頼みたいようなことを言ったじゃねえか。それはつまり差し違えたくない、叔父をぶっ殺した後元の平穏な生活に戻りたいって願望の表れじゃねえか。お前が本当に望んでいる世界は、ついこの間までの世界、俺たちみんなが仲良く楽しく過ごしていたあの世界への回帰なんだ。だがな、お前が殺人を犯せば絶対にその世界へは戻れない。そうそう簡単に完全犯罪なんかができると思うなよ。お前は絶対に逮捕される。
それくらい覚悟の上です。サトコの苦しみを私が懲役で買われるなら本望です。
違うな違うな、絶対にそれは違うな。お前は自分を呪うぜ。かけてもいい。どうして自分が殺人なんて貧乏くじを引かなくちゃならなかったのか、未練がましく自分を呪うんだ。そしてその時になってようやくシオンが本当に求めていたことに気がつくんだよ。それは叔父を殺すことじゃない、みんなと元の世界に戻ることだ。そしてそれは殺人を犯すことで台無しになってしまうんだよ。そしてお前が自分を呪うようにサトコも自分を呪うだろうな。自分が原因でシオンが殺人を犯す羽目になったとずっと後悔すると思う。第一、お前がいなくなったら誰がサトコにカボチャを食わせるんだよ。誰がサトコと陰険なトラップの相談をするんだよ。お前だろ。園崎シオンだろ。お前が本当に目指す世界にはお前がサトコの脇にいなければダメなんだよ。そこを間違えるな。サトコのためだと錯覚して自ら取り返しのつかない間違いを犯すんじゃない。
そこまで言うなら、ケイちゃんはサトコを救う方法を何か提案できるんですか？できないでしょ。口先だけの綺麗事で私の邪魔立てをするな。だからそこをどいて。殺す。私が今から殺しに行く。
You don't give him a hairful glow, but you just send her back with a
シオンを生かせ
confident
るわけにはい
smile.
かねえな。俺たちの望む世界はシオンが欠けたら成立しない。だから俺はお前を生かさないぞ。
ほう、そうですか。ならケイちゃんは北条哲平をかばってるってわけですね。なら同罪だ。お前から先に頭を叩き割ってやる。
Damn.
ちょっと
Not her grabbing a fucking chair about to smack his head open.
シオンさん、その椅子をどうするつもりですか？やめなさい。椅子を床に置きなさい。ケイちゃんがこの後に及んでまだ私が本気だって分かってないならマジで血見ます。謝んなくていいですからとっととどきやがれってんです。
シオン、確かに今この瞬間俺はよりいい提案をできない。でもそれは今思いついてないだけのことだ。俺たちはきっとサトコを助けるもっとマシな方法を考え出す。絶対にだ。絶対に俺たちがサトコを救う。だからな、信じろ仲間を。
仲間であるサトコのために手を汚さない連中にサトコを仲間呼ばわりされたくないです。もう一度は言わない。そこをどきやがれ。
シオンこそ頭を冷やして考え直せ。俺たちはきっとサトコを救える。それを信じろ。だから短絡的な考えに走るんじゃない。仲間を信じろ。仲間呼ばわりされたくないってんなら俺を信じろ。 前原圭一が必ず貞子を救う。だからそいつにかけてみろ。
黙れ無力。お前なんか信じられるか。お前にどうやって貞子が救えるというのか。シオン。
Shion threw the chair at Keiichi. It hit him hard and the chair fell to the floor with a loud noise. But Keiichi was unfazed even after being struck. He just stood in front of the exit without even covering his face. Damn. Wait, he wasn't unfazed. A trail of blood was pouring from his forehead where the corner of the chair hurt him.
答えねえな。その程度で俺が道を譲ると思ったかよ。殺されたって俺はここをどかねえぞ。お前を生かせればシオンのいない世界になる。その世界ではいなくなったお前のことをずっと思って毎日うつむいている聡子がいるんだ。俺たちがどうやって慰めてもその場だけは元気そうにするがすぐにまたうつむいてしまう。そんな悲しい世界があるんだ。
He kinda has a point.
俺は聡子にそんな悲しい世界を見せたく
But
ない。
at the same time, what else are they supposed to
昨日
do?
までがそうだったようにみんなで楽しく過
They've
ごして
tried to
暴れ
save
て遊
her
べる
before,
あの
and
世界
it's
だ。
always failed.
もちろんおじの野郎なんかに二度と聡子を泣かすような真似はさせない。それがどういう方法なのか今この場では確かに思いついていない。でもそれは絶対に思いつく。絶対だ。だから俺を信じろ。
He's really good at making speeches. He makes this big one in this one. He made one in the Rena chapter as well when he's trying to convince Rena to like stop, you know, her psychotic murder spree. Shion wasn't yet convinced, but even so, she walked to the window and took her seat. Somebody rested a hand on Keiichi's shoulder. It was the principal. He'd been standing there listening to him for a while.
校長先生。
よく耐えた。千恵先生、一部始終は聞かせてもらいましたぞ。
私が至らぬばかりに申し訳ありません。
昨日の今日の出来事ではあるが、わしももはや猶予のならない事態だと思っておる。しかるべきところへすぐに連絡するべきであろう。
でも校長先生、児童相談所には過去にも相談したことがあって。
どうせ助けてなんかくれませんよ。他力本願もいいとこです。
Shion raised her voice. The principal looked at Shion and started talking.
園崎シオン君、私は言葉の中で最も憎むべきものがあるのを知っている。それが何かわかるかね。今君が言ったどうせという言葉だ。どうせという言葉は戦いもせず負けを認める最も醜い言葉だ。その言葉を口にした時すでに戦いには負けておるのである。
私も校長先生の意見に賛成。どんな策があるにせよ頼るべき順序があると思うの。児童相談所に相談するのは多分一番最初にするべきことなんだと思う。それでダメなら2番目の手3番目の手を考えればいい。試しもしないうちから諦めるのは私は見殺しにするのと何も変わらないと思うから。
校長、もちろん通報するからには絶対聡子を助けてもらえるように言い含めてくれるんですよね。
無論だ。北条君はわしの可愛い教え子である。きっと助けてもらえるようわしにできる最善を尽くす。
児童相談所は迅速ですから今から通報すればきっと今夜にはもう動いてくれるでしょう。
それで聡子が救われればいいんだけど、もしもまた様子見なんてことになったら。
それがダメだったら次の手を考えようよ。私たちが諦めない限り絶対に聡子ちゃんを救えるんだから。
いつまでも綺麗事を言っててください。そうしてのんびりしてるうちに聡子は癒しようのない心の傷を負うんです。見殺しにしてるのはどっちなんですよ。
シオン、俺はさっき約束したからな。俺たちは絶対にサトコを救う。それもお前みたいに差し違えてでもなんて話じゃない。サトコが本当に幸せになれるような最高の形で救い出してみせる。見てろ、絶対だからな。前原圭一が絶対と言ったらそれは絶対なんだ。
Keon stared out the window without looking at Keiichi's face.
園崎家の方で児童相談所がどういう判断を下すか確認するよ。分かったらみんなに電話するよ。
それで無事保護されることに決まれば最高だからな。
もちろん楽観はできないね。様子見になる可能性が一番高いね。そうなったらどうする？
その時はくそ。
知恵先生、職員室に行きましょうぞ。早速電話をしましょ
ええ、よく説明しないといけません。
I left the classroom. Keiichi, Rena, and Mion got together and discussed their other options. Shion was looking down and crying. Is Rika still there? Oh, there we go. Rika was just vaguely looking at the bed of staring at a boring TV drama. Nothing will change. The Child Consultation Center will put her case on hold. I've seen it so many times in previous lives. I must hope that they will take her into custody just this once. But I have no more coins left to gamble on a hope like that. In previous life, Keiichi killed Satoko's uncle. She was not there when that happened. When she is, I suppose she's the one who takes on that role. Their pathetic hopes will be crushed by tomorrow morning. The social worker will be at her house tonight, but Satoko will deny that she's being abused. Her uncle will assume that she was the one who called the service and will abuse her even more. She will come to school tomorrow because she doesn't want the Child Consultation Center to be suspicious of him. We will feel more and more hopeless when we see the dead look in Satoko's eyes. I've been living for more than 100 years, but I've never defeated this fate. The fate of her uncle's return. I was blessed with so much luck, and I thought I could defeat it this time. But in the end, it all came down to the same thing. It was a waste of energy to put in any effort. It was worthless. All worthless. The more I thought about this inescapable fate, the more I pitied these people for talking endlessly about how they were going to save Satoko. Damn. Oh my god. Bro. Whew, I did not expect that to be that intense and depressing. Oh my god. Wet blanket. Teppei returned to Hinamizawa to escape some trouble. He'd have to stay there for the rest of the summer, perhaps the whole year, and see what happened. For him, the house in Hinamizawa was like a rather dull hiding place. His lover, Rina, had suddenly disappeared. Rumors told him that she was involved with some dangerous deal. Some source even told him that she had already been caught and killed. Everyone he knew was aware that Rina was living with him. Everyone also assumed that he knew everything about what Rina did. Convinced that he got money by tricking her into doing something, and as a result, some dangerous men came after him. That made it difficult for him to stay in Okinomiya. More than anything, it pissed him off to find out that Rina was cooking up something behind his back with some other guys. Hinamizawa was about the only place he could go. He couldn't go back to the house where he used to live with his wife, as it had been abandoned since he moved into Stoko's house. Besides, he didn't even have the key to his old place. But if he went to Stoko's house, she should still be there, and she should clean and cook for him, too. Teppei didn't know how to cook or clean. He certainly wasn't thinking of learning. Because he's an asshole! Rina had often been rebellious towards Teppei. He had often said that he wanted to be with someone more loyal, like a pet. For Teppei, Satoko was exactly what he wanted. As Satoko is still a little kid, she can't satisfy him sexually, but he can at least make her wash his back in the bath. Stoko's dead mother used to be a pretty woman. Satoko might grow up to become pretty lady herself in about 4 or 5 years. Ugh! That's so fucking gross. Teppei headed back to Hinamizawa with those thoughts in his head. The house was locked, so as soon as she was at the market or grocery shopping, he found her at the store and dragged her back home. The house was full of dust. She'd been living at her friend's house for the past year, and the house had been abandoned. Teppei exploded in anger. He told her that it was her responsibility to keep the house in order. I told you he was an absolute asshole. I ain't lying. He beat her and kicked her down to the floor. Eventually, Satoko's expression returned to what he remembered from 1982. Satoko started obeying him immediately and cleaned up the house. A new place to hide with a new girl. His new life was starting out pretty good. Teppei called his buddies to show off his new beginning and ended up playing mahjong with them. He bragged about his new pet and made her serve them food and drinks. He told her to walk on all fours like a real pet. She refused, but she obeyed immediately when he tried to hit her. Everyone was laughing and they were all jealous of him. Teppei felt really good about himself. Oh my god. However, someone arrived to interrupt his perfect life.
私、ひなみざわ文庫教諭の千恵と申します。北条さと子さんはいらっ
He
し
is
ゃいます
the
か？
absolute scum of the earth. He thought someone was at his door to sell insurance or something, but it was a school teacher.
ああ、なんじゃよ踊れ。なんで踊りに里子合わせにゃならんね。
今日、北条さんが学校をお休みしましたけれど、連絡がなかったもので、何かあったのかと思い、お伺いさせていただきました。
ああ、学校？
はい、さと子ちゃんはいますか？ちょっとお話ししたいことがあるのですが。
ああ、風邪なんね。そうそう。里子は風邪で熱出しとるんですわ。
プリントとかをお渡ししたいので、ちょっとだけお話しすることはできませんか？
ドアホ。踊れ話聞いてなかったんかい。里子は風邪じゃ。
I would have hit him over the fucking head with that notebook she's carrying right there.
それ合わせられるかい、バカ。
It's going to cause him problems, Teppei realized. Satoko was just a pet for him, and he had no intention of sending her to school. But her teacher had shown up at his house just because she missed one day. This wasn't good. Teppei hates schools, and he really hates teachers.
そうですか。明日は登校できそうですか？
知るかいな、そんなもん。
To call your own flesh and blood your niece a fucking pet.
わかりました。
Like,
で
that
は、
is...
さと子ちゃんによろしくお伝えください。失礼します。
He was able to get rid of the teacher, but it would create more problems if he didn't send Satoko to school tomorrow. Teppei didn't need even more trouble in this place. That meant he couldn't beat up Satoko like he wanted to. Violence was the only way he knew how to communicate. With that out of the picture, it was very difficult for him. Wow! Oh, Lord forbid he wanted to beat up Satoko, but that would leave evidence on the body. If that happened, he wouldn't be able to send her to school. And if she didn't go to school, that teacher would show up at his doorstep again. Shit. Top of all that, the child consultation center paid a visit to his house that night. Teacher must have filed a report. That bitch, Teppei thought. Next time I'll beat her in the face so hard she'll need plastic surgery. Since Satoko was afraid of him, she pretended she really was sick when the social worker visited. It was so easy for Teppei to control her. He considered Satoko to be a convenient pet, but at the same time he'd need to be careful of the consultation center.
ああ、ごんまんおもろないばっかね。
I hope he fucking leaves. Bitch ass. Okay, I'm gonna need a second. I need a decompression time. Oh my god. Poor Rika, poor Satoko. Oh my god. Okay. Alright, I gotta go use the bathroom anyway. I'll probably grab like a snack and kind of decompress for a few minutes, and then I will be back because I'm desperate to see if this actually turns out good or not, because these poor fucking girls. Oh my god. Okay. I will be back. Alright, I'm back. I got lunch. I had a little box of Nerds. I drank a little bit of water. I went potty. I rubbed my eyes very, very well to get all the nastiness out. I got my blankie. I got my emotional support Kuromi plushie. I can do it. I can do it. We can do it. I believe.
Chikshou, Satoko のバカ。
まあ、多分そうだろうとは思ったんだけどね。
Mion called me in the middle of the night. My social worker went to Stoko's house tonight after getting a call from the school. They had a talk with Satoko and her uncle. I told them Stoko didn't go to school today because of a cold. He also claimed he didn't call the school because he didn't have the number. Fucking liar! I spoke with Chie-sensei politely and that she just misunderstood his paper. Uh-huh. Kriko didn't really talk, but she never denied what her uncle was saying.
で、Satoko も一緒に虐待なんかありません。助けなんか必要ありません
She
って
told
答えた
you.
わけか。
She told
サトコ
you.
はサトシがいなくなったのは自分に耐える力がなくて兄に甘えすぎたせいだとずっと後悔していた。だから
誰の助けも借りずに耐え忍ぶことが1年前の自分への罪滅ぼしになるなんて思ってるってのか。くそバカが。
保護司の人の所見では少なくともサトコに目立つ外傷は見当たらなかったから緊急性の高い虐待を受けているようには見えなかったって。聞き取りの結果衣食は与えられてるようだし寝る場所もあったし。
そんなのは当たり前じゃねえか。衣食も寝る場所もなくならないと虐待とは呼ばれないってのかよ。
まあそういうことらしいね。そういうケースではそもそも面会も拒否されるらしいから面会できた時点で相談所は緊急性がないと判断したみたい。
シオンのやつがっくり来てただろ。
Yep. It's exactly what they did the last,
サト
10
コが
times
サトシ
they've
に
done
義理立て
this.
して助けを求めないようにシオンもサトシに義理立てしてサトコを救おうと躍起になっているとこがあるから短期を起こそうって気はとりあえずなくなったみたいだけどがっくりしてるよ。
今この場で愚痴っても仕方ねえが、サトシは本当にどこに行っちまったんだよ。妹の危機だってのにどこに行っちまったんだ。
わからないとしか言えないよ。
No idea.
そうだな。すまん。サトシが帰ってきてくれればサトシが解決してくれるだろうなんて、それこそシオンの言う通り他力本願の極みだぜ。誰かが助けに来てくれるのを期待するんじゃない。助けるんだ、俺たちが。
そうだね。私たちにできる努力をしないといけないよ。
しかし園崎家もさすがだな。今日訪問したばかりの保護司の見解をその晩にはもうキャッチしてるってんだからさ、児童相談所の中にスパイがいるとしか思えないな。
まあまあ、そこは国家機密ということで。
ってことはその人は児童相談所の内部、もしくは相当詳しい人なんだろ。その人は今回の件どうするのがベストだとか助言はくれなかったか。
熱くならずにしばらく様子を見てみようって言われちゃったよ。
なんだよそりゃ。ミオ、お前サトコがどういう状況か話したんだろ。おじに監禁されていじめられてて学校にも通わせてもらえないのがどうして様子見なんだよ。
Yeah, it's hard to prove.
ケイちゃん、これは私が言ったんじゃないからね。その人が私に言ったことをそのまま言うんだから誤解しないでね。確かにサトコが今日登校しなかったのは事実だけど、でも1日だよ。1週間や1ヶ月というならともかく、1日じゃ本当に風邪の可能性も否めないよ。
でも虐待されてるんだぞ。サトコの体や心に消せない傷が残るまで放置しろってのかよ。
待ってケイちゃん、そこなんだよ。私たちは去年のサトコがどういう状況にあったかよく知ってるから危機感を持ってるけど、実際昨日今日でサトコは何の虐待も受けてない。客観的に見て現時点でサトコが虐待を受けているとはとても言えないんだよ。
確かに殴られて青あざがあるとかそういうのはまだないかもしれないけど、時間の問題だろう。それにリカちゃんと2人で暮らしてるのを無理に家に連れ戻したのだって虐待とは言えないのかよ。
それは昨日私たちで話した時に出た通りだよ。親権者が子供を保護すること自体は自然だからさ、客観的に見てサトコが虐待を受けているとは言えないんだよ。
虐待が起こる前に食い止めなきゃしょうがねえじゃねえかよってミオンに怒鳴ることじゃねえな。すまんすまん。
I knew that wasn't Mion's opinion, but I felt like she was telling me that, and I raised my voice. When I sensed her dismay, I quickly apologized.
私も去年のサトコがどういう仕打ちを受けていたかよく説明したんだけど、去年の通報も様子見で解決してるわけだしね。
去年の虐待を解決したのは4年目のたたりだろ。別に相談所が解決したわけじゃねえけどな。
でもとにかく去年の件を含めても相談所はそのくらいの危機感しか持ってないってこと。私たちと相談所の温度差がどうも敵みたいなんだよ。
分かった。とにかく最初の手は打ったもんな。次の手はすぐに考えようぜ。明日は全員で会議しよう。俺たちは最強の部活メンバーだぞ。今までもっと条件の悪い戦いを遊びのようにくぐってきたさ。俺たちは絶対にサトコを救い出す。
As we spoke, I felt less angry about the decision that the Child Consultation Center made. It was something we expected anyway. I was being emotional for a while, but Mion wasn't taking it personally. She's usually a tough person, but I know that she feels very weak when something like this happens. I have to be careful to not get too emotional with her. Our enemy was Tepe. I couldn't yell at my friends just because I was frustrated. I almost forgot sometimes, but Mion is a girl. There's no way yelling at her without cause wouldn't hurt her. I think I have a tendency to lash out with my emotions sometimes. I definitely need to rein in that bad habit, especially during emergencies like this. All I could do by myself was probably the same thing Shion was suggesting earlier. but I knew it wouldn't make Satoko happy. We club members are fearless, but the power I possess is the smallest amongst all of us. That's why I needed to communicate with them. If we united, we would be able to come up with a better plan. I couldn't think of a plan all by myself. 3 heads are better than 1. We would definitely figure something out.
じゃあ、私はこれからリカちゃんに電話するよ。ケイちゃんはレナに電話してくれないかな。
おう、わかったぜ。レナか。今日のあいつ、シオンと堂々やり合ってたな。それに、いいことも言ってたぜ。土壇場で骨のあるやつだよな。
うん。レナは昔からここ一番では絶対に曲げないんだよ。でも、いいことならケイちゃんも言ってたよ。ちょっとかっこよかったかもだね。
今更だが、ちょいと照れることを言っちまったように思うな。なんだか恥ずかしいぜ。
じゃあこれで切るね。レナもきっと連絡を待ってると思う。申し訳ないけどよろしく頼むね。
おう。リカちゃんの方にもよろしくな。誰もが辛いが、多分リカちゃんはもっともっと辛いと思う。
She really, really has. Rika-chan was looking at the ground with a depressed look on her face all day. My chest hurts just remembering it. It must be even more painful to look at Satoko. Mion hung up the phone. I also hung up, then called Rena. She picked up the phone after one ring, which surprised me.
もしもし、レナか。お前、受話器の前でずっと待ってただろ。
うん。なかなか連絡がないし、みーちゃんのところにかけても話中だしで困ってたんだよ。
その話中は多分俺と電話をしてたからだろう。ミオンは今はリカちゃんに電話してくれてる。役割分担ってことで、レナには俺から伝えるように言われてる。だから俺が状況を説明するぜ。
うん。相談所の人はやっぱり様子見？
ああ。残念だがそういうことらしい。
すっごい悔しいけど、多分そうだろうと思ってたからね。向こうの言い分はこう？まだ1日しか経っていないから状況がつかめない。今日の欠席も本当に風邪かもしれないし、さとこちゃん自身に特に虐待の痕跡は見つけられなかった。こんなとこかな。
お前、俺んちに盗聴器つけてるだろ。そうだよ。まさにその通りだよ。まったくクソったれな話だぜ。
まだ1日しか経ってないって本当に嫌な言い方だね。虐待が起こってしまったらその時は手遅れだというのに。
虐待が本当に起こったらサトコはきっと誰が見てもわかる外傷を負う。そうなったら叔父のやつサトコを保護司に合わせるわけがない。そうなったらそうなったで、またしても虐待の痕跡は発見できないって言って様子見だ。
それってすっごい矛盾だよね。
Apparently they need court approval to force entry, but applying for that isn't easy. So while social workers may be supposed to have great legal power, in reality their hands are tied and they can't act if the family turns them away. They're not the police. They're not the ones who storm in, even if they have to break windows to do so. Damn it. Then who does have the right to break those windows? If we did, I'd smash them wide
とにかく
open.
連中には危機感が足りねえんだよな。このままサトコを放っておいたらどういうことになるかが分かってないんだ。
圭一君ってちょっとすごいなって思う。
どうしてだ？
だって圭一君って転校してきたばかりなんだよ。さとこちゃんと知り合って半年も経ってないはずなのに、これだけ親身になってさとこちゃんのことを考えることができて、そして去年のさとこちゃんがどんな状況だったか見たことがないにもかかわらず、さとこちゃんがどんな辛い思いをしたか想像することができる。圭一君が普通の人だったなら多分私たちが騒ぐのに対しきっとこう言ってるよ。まだ1日目だろ、しばらく様子を見てみようぜって。
そんなのちょっと想像すりゃ分かることじゃねえかよ。それにみんなから去年の聡子がどうだったかってことは少なからず聞いてる。それから考えれば一刻の猶予もないことなんて簡単に想像がつくよ。
それはきっとすごいことだと思う。今日しーちゃんが乱暴なことを言いながら教室から出て行こうとした時、圭一君はそれを許さなかったよね。そして圭一君が言った言葉が深かった。
Do you think Satoko would appreciate it if you saved her by committing
なかな
murder?
か男の子が言えることじゃないよ。それどころかごめんね、しーちゃんが言い出すようなことは圭一くんが言い出すんじゃないかと思ってた。
It's Arena. She saw right through me to the core. To be honest, I was able to keep my calm because Shion caused that commotion. I too thought our only option was to kill him. What's there to hesitate about? Everything would be resolved if we went over and killed her uncle right away. I thought those same things myself. And then I thought about how I would actually kill him. First, I'd assault him with a metal bat or something. But before that, I would scope out his house and dig the hole to bury his body ahead of time. When I imagined it, I envisioned myself actually digging the hole with the camping shovel in the woods. I repeated this for Satoko, this is for Satoko in my mind like a mantra, trying to forget the weight of the murder ahead. I relived that, exhaustion and frustration. I could very clearly imagine myself standing there soaking with sweat and covered in mosquito bites. I'm sure I'd call her uncle or something to lure him out of the house and bludgeon him to death. I repeated my mantra, this is for Satoko, this is for Satoko, blaming her for that serious crime as I tried to avoid my own guilt over committing murder. Did Satoko ask me to do that? Am I going to blame it all on her because I committed murder? Would she appreciate that? No, she wouldn't. I won't be able to tell anyone that I had killed someone. No one would appreciate my deed, and I'd have to carry that burden for the rest of my life. That pathetic future is one I couldn't have imagined in the rush I felt before carrying out the murder. I decided to kill him so I could return us to happier times. But the act of murder also meant shattering the thin path that could lead us back there.
俺はそこまで想像できたから、シオンのよう
It's
に
because it
口
happened
に出して言
before.
うには及ばなかっただけさ。
He did that
も
exact
しそこまで
thing.
想像が及ばなかったら、
And it
俺も
fucked
シ
up
オンに同調
everything.
して殺せ殺せって騒いでいた可能性は高いな。
そうなってたらもうどうにもならなかったね。圭一くんの想像力が豊かでよかったかな。
Is that really just my imagination, though? Did I imagine killing her uncle in my mind? Can imagination alone really be that vivid? I could smell the earth, taste the scattered dirt flying into my mouth, see the pebbles scattered as I shoved the shovel down, and hear the roots crackling from its weight. The image was so real, it felt more like I had actually done it in the
そうだな。
past.
どういうことをしたらどういう結果になるか、よく想像するべきだよな。
It's not committing the murder that's hard, it's covering the tracks. That's what's hard.
冷静ないい大人になれると思うよ。
あれは想像の中だったのかな。なんだかさ、そういうイフの世界が他にもあったんじゃないかって思うんだよ。
想像力が本当に豊かな人はあらゆる可能性の世界を垣間見ることができるって言うもんね。だから圭一くんが本当に悩んで未来を見据えた結果の想像ならば、それは単なる想像の世界ではなく、確かにあり得た別の可能性の世界の情景なんだと思うよ。
その別の世界でも相談所への通報は様子見で終わるんだ。それでその後、聡子は一時的に学校に登校するようになるんだが、何日もしないうちに壊れてしまうんだ。
Soko was bearing the abuse, but even something small would be enough to break her. Just like an old bowl that has a crack in it. One day that crack will eventually widen and the bowl will shatter.
俺の想像の世界では、聡子は頭を撫でたら壊れた。俺の手がおじの手に見えたのかもしれない。俺の手を払いのけて、泣きながらカーテンの束を抱いて、ニーニーニーニーって叫んでたよ。
ニーニー
So sad.
誰に聞いたの？
え？さあな。誰かに聞いたんだろうな。聡子がサトシを呼ぶ時の呼び方だろ。それがさ、本当に胸がかきむしられるような泣き方なんだ。俺は慰めてやりたいのに近寄ることもできない。俺が近寄ろうとするとおじの姿に見えるらしくて余計泣き叫ぶんだ。
やっぱり
It's also the fact that he's male too. That definitely makes it harder.
去年のさとこちゃんは本当にそうだった。私やみーちゃんなんかはよく覚えてるから想像がつくことだけど、転校してきてまだそんなに経っていない圭一くんがそこまで考えることができるなんて、本当に圭一くんはすごいよ。だから圭一くんは私たちと危機感がずれていないんだね。
じゃあレナも同じなのか？
うん。圭一くんほどはっきりとは見えないけれど、このままさとこちゃんを救えずに時間を過ごせば、きっと何日もしないうちにさとこちゃんは壊れてしまうと思う。圭一くんが言うような形でニーニーって言いながらカーテンを抱いて泣き叫ぶと思う。その時私たちはきっと思い知る。無力であることが罪なのではない、何もしないことが罪なんだって思い知る。あれ、私の想像の中の話なのにね。本当に悲しくて涙が出てきた。
And I can also sense how urgently we need to save Satoko. Not everybody feels that way, though. My friends all do, but they're special. Normal people like those at the Child Consultation Center see us as overreacting.
そうだよね。まだ1日しか経ってないって言われたら言い返せないもんね。風邪なんかでお薬をもらう時と同じ。2、3日様子を見てみましょうってことになるもんね。
They sure do. Even when you feel like you're
俺たち
dying.
はこの危機感にもっと素直でいいと思う。一刻の猶予もない。きっとサトコを助け出そう。
うん。私たちは一人一人では何も思いつけないけれど、みんなで一緒に考えればきっとすごい力を生み出せる。ずっと昔、私が一人で悩んで何か悲しい思いをした時、誰かにそう教えてもらった。今こそそれを実践する時なんだと思う。
そうだな。誰だか知らんがレナにそれを教えたやつは立派なやつだな。
It was strange. I've had this feeling ever since Rena told me this story at school. Felt like I too once learned a lesson after some event. Rena and I only met recently. Guess it's just a coincidence. Anyway, I was so lonely inside of my imagination. I thought it was stupid for them to only sit and think about how they could save Satoko, and I made a selfish decision. But I eventually learned, just like Rena did. You'll never come up with anything good by worrying something on your own. Yep. You have to talk to your friends. That way they will help you reach the best possible solution. Yeah, Rena literally went psycho and tried to kill everyone because she got panicked. She thought everyone was trying to kill her.
今は思いつかないが、きっと最善手を思いつくからって私は信じるからね。圭一君はきっと最善手を思いつく。
なんだよ、俺だけに任せるなよ。いいアイデアは引き続き募集中だぜ。
そういう意味じゃないよ。私は何があっても仲間を信じるよ。絶対信じる。
I believe in my friends.
きっとさとこ
I fight for my friends, that's it.
信じてる。だから絶対に短絡的な手段には訴えない。
ああ、そうだな。きっと俺たちはサトコを救い出せる。信じろ。俺も信じる。
I will never think that I'm the only one who's trying to save her. I believe that all of us feel the same way.
明日みんなで集まって会議をしよう。実際に通報してくれた千恵先生も何か話を聞いてるかもしれないからな。俺たちは子供だから次の手が思いつかないが、大人ならいい手を知ってるかもしれない。
うん、そうだね。もうこれしか手がないなんて浅はかの極みだからね。
そうさ。手がないなんて努力しないやつの言い訳だ。手はある。絶対にあるんだ。
Good luck with that.
だから俺たち自身に手がなくてもその手を探すことを決して諦めない。
うん、諦めない。
Mion praised her for it too, but Rena really is strong in a crisis. I got a little emotional when I was talking with Mion, but Rena is different. Her fire is quiet and blue, so at first glance it seems lesser than my bright red, roaring blaze, but the truth is the opposite. Blue flames burn far hotter. As I spoke with Rena, I felt my useless wild energy calming down so I could rationally search for the best solution. Through that, I felt Rena's strength. Well, apparently Rena felt similarly about me.
どんなめちゃくちゃなことになっても絶対に打ち破れるって気がする。圭一君にはそういう力強さと頼もしさがあるよ。だから圭一君と話をしているとどんどん勇気が出てくる。私たちは必ず聡子ちゃんを救い出せるんだって元気になってくる。
俺はレナから冷静さ、レナは俺から元気か。なるほど、お互いにうまく補完し合っている関係だな。理想的じゃないか。
そしてみーちゃんには園崎家という強い力がありながらも打たれ弱い心がある。でもそこはレナと圭一君できっと補ってあげられると思う。
そうだな。俺たちメンバーは子として最強。揃えば無敵だ。
うん、そうだよ。
Talking to Rena made me feel very confident. If I can share that confidence with my friends, I'll never feel down and miserable ever again. That's a lie, but okay. I'm gonna give my power to the other club members so we can fight even harder. Having friends does help, but it doesn't like 100% cure all of your problems. But it does help to not have to face everything on your own.
リカちゃんが戦う気力を取り戻してくれれば、ますますに俺たちは無敵だぜ。とにかく明日だ。
Is get in your own head.
校長も交えて次にどういう手があるのか考えようぜ。いろんな人を巻き込んで助力を得てみよう。とにかく最善手を探そう。それこそが今の俺たちにできる最善手だ。
I got off the phone with Rena. That was a pretty passionate conversation. We were having, excuse me, oh my god. Fortunately, the child consultation center came to the conclusion they did. But if they could still decide to wait and see, then that proved that Stoko was still safe for now. You're no more than children. Oh my goodness. Thank you, jeez. Ring about it, oh my god, I missed text. Hold on. We are no more than children. Worrying about it too much won't cause us to come up with any good ideas. Murder isn't a real solution. But I had to admit, I thought about it once. You did it once! It's easy to burn up in rage. However, I'd have to stay calm like Rena. She was still burning up very calmly with a blue and quiet flame. I'd never seen anything like that before. Oh my god, Keiichi's parents exist! You never fucking see them. I heard my mom speaking to me. I needed more time to think about what to do with Satoko. Everyone else was probably doing the same. But why, Dad? Wouldn't you want it though instead of me?
本物の温泉には入浴剤って入ってないと思うけどな。
風呂上がりの牛乳がうまい。
My dad seemed to be in a good mood. He probably finished his work. He's as scary as a bear when he has artist's block. I don't understand the whole hot springs milk thing. Maybe my parents could help with an idea. They're the closest adults to me after all. Should I talk to them? Stupid question. I have no reason not to. I'd have to talk to them and seek some advice.
父さんさ、実はちょっと相談があるんだけど。
ん？
Yeah, one of my best friends is being abused.
今度のお祭りの叩き売りオークションのことか？父さんも応援してるからな。
What do I do if I can't murder?
そういえば実行委員会の会合はいつだったっけ？
How save without murder?
父さんも呼ばれてたな。ちゃんと予定表に書いておかないとな。
あ、
I'm so sorry I'm being not as responsive. I'm like very focused right now.
ちょっと大変なことになってて。
These chapters are like very intense. As I talked about Satoko, my mom joined us and listened as well. My dad is a strange artist, but my mom is a normal person with common sense. She might be able to help.
それでさっきの電話は結局様子見になったっていう連絡だったんだ。それで俺たち
But I hope everybody's doing good. Hi to everybody. Thank you for joining today.
あとは
I
任せてお
apologize
くの
if
がい
it's
いんじゃ
very,
ない
very
の？
sad
でも
and
その子は去年に
depressing.
もひどくいじめられていた
But
んだ
this
ろ
will
う。
this be
虐待の度合いの
Higurashi,
ことはわか
everybody.
らないが、
Sometimes it's
二
terrifying,
人で仲
sometimes
良く
it's
暮らしていた
depressing,
のを
sometimes
無理や
it's
り引き裂く
happy.
のは、
It's a
父さん
little
は
mixed
少し
bag
納
of
得できない
everything,
な。
to be honest.
1年間も養育を放棄しててひょっこり帰ってくるような人では確かにね。
児童相談所が様子見って言ってるから、じゃあ様子見でいいだろうってのはものすごく他力本願だと思うんだ。俺たちは里子の仲間だから、里子を救い出すためにもっともっと攻めていきたいんだよ。でもそれがどんな方法なのか思いつかないんだ。
圭一、闇討ちなんて考えちゃダメよ。
考えてないよ。というか、そんなこと考えてたら親に相談なんかしないよ。
それもそうね。圭一のことだから完全犯罪ってどんな方法があるって聞いてきそうな気がしたものだから。
Hey, I would never ask my parents something like that. Oh yeah, he did it completely on his own, I think.
圭一が正しいぞ。世の中には戦いがたくさんあるが、ルールに従って戦うのが大切だ。ルールを違反する人は誰も助けてくれないし、褒めてもくれない。ちゃんとルールにのっとって喧嘩をしなくちゃダメだ。
喧嘩にルールもへったくれもないと思うけどな。で、どう？何か手があったら教えてほしいんだけど。
My parents have been alive for more than twice as long as me. They must have had some experience with things like this. They must have had many good ideas. At least that's what I thought. But they crossed their arms and went silent.
普通はそういう話になったら児童相談所に通報するんだけど、通報して拉致が開かなくてその先ってのはな。
やっぱり法律とかそういうのではもうどうにもならないのかな。里子がひどい傷を負うまで警察も相手にしてくれないのかな。
だとしたら訴えていくしかないな。
訴える？裁判？
違うぞ圭一。児童虐待は児童相談所の管轄と決まっている。そしてその児童相談所の判断に不服なら
裁判で訴える？
圭
True.
一、
That is
裁
something
判
you
は
can
当事者
do.
同士の話し合いがつかないとき、その裁定を求める場でしょ。その前の段階を踏まなくちゃ。
日常生活の保全と問題解決は生活相談所の管轄と決まってる。そしてその相談所の判断に不服なら
なら
児童相談所に訴えるんだよ、俺たちが。
If we're unsatisfied with the decision they made, we can simply go and tell them that.
里子とうちの関係はそんなのんびりしたものじゃないってことを誰よりも事情を知る俺たちが説明していかなくちゃならないだろう。
そうだよね。相談所の人が私たちと同じくらいに里子ちゃんの置かれている状況を理解しているとは思えないもの。もし状況の認識に誤解があるなら
Yeah,
私
with
たちが説
really,
明して
really
その誤解を解か
important
なくちゃ。
stuff like this, you have to like
なるほど。
almost hound them
真正面
about
から
it
の
for
正
them
攻
to
法って
do
わけか。
something. Which
ど
is
うでしょうね。
awful that that's how the law is, but
お役所って一度決めた
otherwise
決定は
they'll just
容易
like
に
let
覆
it
さない
slide and
意味ないんじゃ
you
な
know
いです
it'll
か。
get lost under a mountain of other cases.
意味がない
But,
かどうかは試さなくちゃわからないことだろ。やる前から諦め
but
る
if
な
you
んて
keep hounding them about it
負けの
and
発想だぞ。
hounding them about
できる
it
手は
and
全て試
telling
すんだ。
them and proving to them how important it is to
昨日
you,
校長
then
も教えてくれたぜ。
eventually they're gonna have to do something.
どうせダメだと言って諦めた時
At the very least,
戦う
just
前
to
から
get you
俺たちは
from
敗北するんだ。
stopping
シオンは里子を助け出
bothering
すつ
them
も
all
り
the
で
time.
短絡的な手段に訴えるのも辞さないとメラメラ真っ赤に燃え盛ってる。でもな、本当に熱い炎ってのは青くて静かなんだ。決して諦めるな。俺たちにできる全ての手を尽くすんだ。どうですか先生。俺間違ったことを言ってますか？
いいえ、間違ったことは言っていません。よく冷静に考えましたね。ひょっとしたら闇討ちしようなんてとんでもない話を言い出さないか先生ちょっと不安でした。
Yep. That's what my mom was saying. Is that how people perceive me?
先生も本当は
In
様
some
子見をするべ
realities,
き
he
であると考
definitely
えていま
has.
したでも皆さんの訴えや去年の話をいろい
In
ろと
some,
思
he
い出
is
す
a,
うちに
you know,
さとこちゃんの
blaring
問題
beacon
が
of hope
一刻の
where
猶予もないという
he's
ことを
like a
理
saint
解
and he
でき
doesn't do
ました
anything
人
wrong.
は
And then
訴え
some,
によ
he's
っ
like,
て
yeah, let me
考え
just
を
commit
変えること
murder
があり
and
ます。それは沖宮の相談所とて同じです。訴えれば判断が覆ることもあるかもしれない。
bury it in the backyard and try to hide it from all of my friends and family and
しーちゃん、一人で膝を抱えて悩むくらいなら私たちと一緒
very
に戦
interesting
わない？
character. But
誰が膝を
all
抱
of
い
the
てるんですか？
characters in
私
this
泣き寝入りなんてし
have
ま
all
せんで
done
は。
something
なんだ
terrible
なんだ
depending on the
シオンの狼
reality.
狽が激しいな。
So
ひょっとしてビンゴだな。
there are different circumstances that cause them
失礼
to
な。いいですよ。
go
レナさんの提
crazy.
案賛成です。行こうじゃないですか、児童相談所。それでも様子見なんて言いやがったら鼻の骨をへし折ってやる。
So
鼻の骨は
any
まずいな。
person can
心意気は上等だ
become
ぜ。シ
violent
オンも一晩
or
頭を冷やして
um,
少し炎を青くできたようだな。
very, I
サ
don't
ト
know if
コを
I
救
want
う
to say
ために本気なだ
psychotic,
け
but
です。
crazy given this if they're put under
と
the
にか
right
くそうと決まったら躊躇せずに実行しよう。児童相談所の場所は分かってる。実はね、おじさんも知らなかったんだけど、図書館の1階に児童相談所があったんだよね。
Leon grinned and showed us the location on a city guidebook. She's really prepared for this.
受付の時間は夕方5時15分まで。相手はお役人だからね。喧嘩腰はダメだよ。あくまでも
But
冷
why
静にね。
not? I want to fight.
何よね。私に言ってるんですか？私を誰だと思ってるんですか？相手を口説くのが目的なら、嘘泣きだろうとこびまくりだろうと、私は何だってやりますよ。
Shion is very, very good at acting.
夕方5時なら今から行
Very
けば
good.
十分間に合うね。
It was past 3 o'clock. We'd make it before they closed if we rushed there on our
でもよ
bikes.
お役所って時間に厳しいんだろ。時間ぴったりになったら追い出されるんじゃねえのか。
入り口は時間ぴったりに閉まるけどね。その時間に中に入れば絶対に追い出され
That's
はし
true.
ない。いい
They have a harder time kicking you out if you're already
お役人と
inside.
交渉するときは決して値を上げないこと。お役人は意外にタフだけど、民間と違って向こうから話を打ち切れないの。絶対にこれ以上は言っても拉致が開かないなんて思って屈服しちゃダメ。しっかり全ての言い分を言い終わるまで粘るんだよ。兄ちゃん、お役所の人に詳しいね。私を誰だと思ってんの？市長懇親会メンバーにして市政モニター会員、園崎お亮の代理だよ。お役所の人と話をすることなんてしょっちゅうだって。
She does have a lot of political
なあミオ
experience.
園崎家の方からいわゆる別のルートを使って働きかけるってことはできないのか？
それはバッチャが絡むからね。ばあさんの力を借りるのは無理でしょ。未だ頭の中はダム戦争。一億一心火の玉ですからね。今でも北条家のことを嫌ってるみたいですし。
里子の死んだ両親がダムに反対してたって話か。俺はミオンのばあさんには会ったことねえんだが、ケツの穴の小せえ野郎だな。いつまでも終わったことをぐちぐち言ってんじゃねえってんだよ。
全くです。この点ではケイちゃんと一致しましたね。つまり園崎家としては動けないってことなんだね。そういうことだね。ごめんね。年寄りは頭が固いから、リカちゃんは猫可愛がりな連中が多いくせに、里子はみんな見て見ぬふりだった。
Sad.
今回の件とは別にせよ。なんだかつまらねえ話だな。鉄平は積極的に里子をいじめやがるからもちろん許さねえが、消極的に里子をいじめるやつも俺が許さねえからな。その年寄り連中に畳の上で死にたかったら前原圭一はあまり怒らせるなって伝えとけ。
うん、了解。
じゃあ行きませんか？時間がもったいないです。
よっしゃ、全は急ごうぜ。行こうぜみんな。
リカちゃんはどうする？
Poor Rika, she's so defeated right now. Rena spoke to Rika-chan, who had been avoiding all conversation. She seemed to have given up all hope yesterday. It was so painful to see her so depressed.
どうせ何をやっても無駄よ。ほら、そのどうせがいけない。無駄かどうかは試さなくちゃわからないもの。あまたの世界で何度もあなたたちは右往左往した。それでどうにもならなかったのに、どうして今回はどうにかなると思えるの？
Because I really had no idea what she was saying. All I could tell is that she was being negative about the situation.
リカちゃんは児童相談所に行って無駄だってことをもう試してきたの？なら試そうよ。リカちゃんにとってさとこちゃんは大切じゃないの？なら試そうよ。戦おう。今ほどさとこちゃんがリカちゃんの力を求めている時はないと思うよ。どうせ終わる世界の座興ね。
どうしたの？早く行こうよ。リカちゃまが乗り気じゃないみたいです。本当に友達がいのない人ですね。普段あれだけ一緒にいる親友なのに、貞子のピンチに腰を上げることすらできないんですか？
Ooh, that's a little
あん
harsh.
たに貞子のことで説教される日が来るとはね。貞子をあれだけ目の敵にしてたあんたがね。
ん？あんた、おつむは大丈夫です？なんで私が貞子を目の敵にしなきゃなんないんですか？
こっちの話よ。いいわ。
Because she took affection from Satoshi.
どうせ家に帰ったって
She blamed her as the
ふて寝
reason
す
why
る
he
だけだもの。
disappeared.
なんか気に入りませんね。つうか、私のことバカにしてます？
やめなよしーちゃん。そしてリカちゃんもやめて。今はさとこちゃんを救うためにみんなで力を合わせよう。みんなの力が合わさればきっと奇跡が起こせる。それには全員の力がいる。一人の力が欠けてもダメ。だからリカちゃん、あなたも力を貸して。
Something that Rena said must have given Rika-chan motivation. I could see a slight sparkle in her eyes. Rena had said something interesting. She said that we can make a miracle happen. That's the phrase. It's the same thing I said when this world began. At that time I said I could make a miracle happen. But I didn't say how. But Rena just clearly stated that.
みんなの力を合わせれば奇跡が起きる。うん。奇跡ってのはね、それだけのことで起こせるんだよ。それでも起きなかったら、本当にみんなの力を得ていない時だけ、みんなが本当に力を合わせたら起きない奇跡などない。
そうですね。竜宮さんの言う通りです。人は助け合うことで何倍にも強くなれます。一人でも多くの力が合わされば必ずどんな困難も乗り越えられます。
そうだね。かつてひなみ沢もダム湖の底に沈むという運命が決まっていた。でもそれを2000人の人々が結束して決まっていた運命を打ち破った。
運命打ち破る。
私たちひなみ沢の人間はこれほど身近に奇跡をしているはずなんだよ。みんなで力を合わせれば絶対に打ち勝てる。そこまで言われたら行くしかないと思いませんか、リカちゃま。これで奇跡が起こらなかったらリカちゃまが欠けてみんなが揃わなかったから奇跡が起
So
こら
then
なか
she's
った
gonna
こと
feel
になります。
guilty. So it's gonna be my fault. That's interesting. Miracle is something that we can make happen. But we need everyone's power to make that come true. Destiny can be defeated, fate can be escaped from. This can happen with a miracle. A miracle can happen if we unite.
昨日レナも言ったぜ。 一人で悩んだってろくなことは思いつかない。全員で力を合わせるんだ。相談し合うんだ。運命に屈するな。そもそも運命なんてな、金魚すくいの網より薄くて簡単に破れるもんだってことを覚えておけよ。
How can he say that without knowing how stubborn fate can be? To me, a witch trapped within fate. But for some reason, his words sounded very persuasive. He easily changed my fate to play the fishing game. My previous life, Keiichi saved Rena from her devastating fate. As fragile as a thin sheet of paper. He's saying that the world I've been struggling in for 100 years is that easy to change. Keiichi had made a fool out of me.
面白いわね。行くわ。
よし、よく言ったぜ、リカちゃん。
リカ、いいのですか？
Anya looked at me with concern. She wanted to warn me that I'll get hurt if I expect too much.
どうせかけるコインは1枚も残ってない。これ以上
I don't have anything to
何を負
lose,
けたって
right?
失うものなんかないわ。どうせ終わった世界だもの。でもそれは前の世界もそうだった。レナが学校を占拠した時、もうどうしようもないと思った。あれほどの末期的な局面からすら圭一は全てをひっくり返してみせた。その圭一が運命なんか金魚すくいの網だって言うのよ。この世界をもう諦めてるからこそなんだか面白そうに感じてきたわ。どうせまた期待を裏切られます。そして辛そうになるリカを見て僕も辛い気持ちになるのです。大丈夫よ、もう落ち込まないわ。流せる涙は流し尽くしたもの。どうせ圭一たちがどうあがいたって聡子は救えないって諦めてる。だからこそよ。児童相談所に乗り込もうなんて展開は初めてだしね。圭一に起こせる奇跡なんて何もないのですよ。
Miracles are called miracles because they don't happen easily. If I can happen at any time, it's not a miracle. It's just something that was meant to be.
期待なんかしてないわよ。でも面白そうだと思うのよ。運命をあっさり破ると豪語した圭一がどうあがくのかがね。リカ、
He's an interesting wild card, and Rika says it all the time. He's like the one outlier.
気をつけてなのです。余計なお世話よ。
Because there are fates that he has chosen. I wasn't expecting anything. I was just trying to enjoy my last week alive like watching a TV show. But I had to admit I was possessed by a strange feeling. It was a little bit exhilarating. I was nervous, as if anticipating something. I had felt the same way when Keiichi remembered the memories of the past in my previous life. I didn't have any coins left to make a bet, but I knew what this feeling meant. If I had a coin left in my heart, I would bet everything on this feeling.
すべての手を尽くしてダメならば、それはそれで諦めがついて気分がいいかもしれないものね。
諦める必要なんかねえぞ。絶対に聡子は救い出せるんだからな。リカちゃんはちゃんと聡子の布団を干しておけよ。聡子が近いうちに戻ってくるんだからな。その時ふかふかの布団が敷けなかったらかわいそうだぞ。
気に入ったわ、圭一。行きましょう。あんたなら地獄の閻魔の最低だって金魚すくいの網と同じにしてしまうわね。
ああ、今の俺を地獄の閻魔だって食い止められると思うなよ。絶対に児童相談所に様子見なんて判断を撤回させてやる。
I stood up from my seat. Keiichi is a very good speaker. He do be making very good speeches. That's why I never get bored with him. I've been with him for 100 years, but he still keeps me entertained.
じゃあ先生、
He's changed a lot of realities,
先生も来ますか？
whereas most of the other ones don't.
私は教育委員会の方
They
に訴え
usually
ます。
take the
児童
same
相談所も
paths.
教育委員会も
But
同
he's
じ役所
always
ですからね。
different.
役所は
And
案
he
外
changes
内側から
the
攻め
rest
る
of
のが
them.
効果的なこともあります。一応先生も地方公務員ですからね。
That's why, like, the
確かに
worst
そう
of
ですね。
realities are when
役
he
所の
goes
人は外部
crazy
に
or
集めたく
he
ても
does
内部にはそうとは限らないこともあり
something
ます。
bad. Because
じゃあ
he's the one that
先生には
changes
先生の
fate
角
the
度からの攻
most.
撃をお願いして、
So
私た
if
ちは
he
行こうじゃ
goes
ない。
bad
真
and
正
he
面から
goes
の攻撃を。
crazy, then the rest of them are basically fucked.
よし行こうみんな。
But when the rest of them go crazy, he has a chance to, like, turn them back. Even knowing that everything is doomed, part of me felt like something good was gonna happen. Hanyu told me that it was only a waste of time. I felt the same way until a few minutes ago. But I had become much more interested. I had no idea what would happen. I wanted to see how Keishi was planning to defeat this destiny. I raised my fist in the air along with them and hurried to the exit. As for Satoko, she didn't come to school again today. Teppei called the school and told them that she still has a fever. He said that he's going to keep her home for a few days until she gets better. Hiei said that she thinks Teppei knows she called the child consultation center. He must be worried that Satoko will rat him out if he lets her go to school. I don't want to think about it, but it's possible that Satoko has visible bruises by now. That could also be why he won't let her go to school. Everything was happening much earlier. Satoko's situation was worsening earlier than it did in my previous lives. Yeah, that's the difference in this world as opposed to the other ones. Is that this is happening even before Wada Nagashi. Wada Nagashi hasn't even happened yet. And 9 times out of 10, Wada Nagashi is like the catalyst that starts all the bad shit.
待たされるな。
あそこで暇そうにしてる人たちが話を聞いてくれてもいいと思いません？
あそこにいるのは一般事務員だよ。私たちはちゃんと話すべき相手と話さなきゃならないんだからさ。
待たされるということは、世の中にはこういう相談事が多いのかな？
どうなんだろうね。考えてみれば、ここの職員が暇そうでちょうどいい気がしてくるよ。
虐待の相談が繁盛しているようでは、世も末なのです。
After 30 minutes, they finally called my name. I wrote down my name at the registration. Sabio can't let them know she's from the Sonozaki family.
今呼ばれた前原ですけど。
I went to the reception to find a uniformed older lady. She must be one of the office workers Mion mentioned. Was she really going to be the one dealing with us?
前原さん、本日は5人でいらっしゃってますが、どういうご相談でしょうか。
The only thing I wrote on the registration was that I wanted to talk about Satoko Hojo.
昨日、ひなみ沢分校の千恵先生から通報があった北条聡子の保護についての件です。それでちょっとお話ししたいことがありまして。
前原さんと皆さんは北条聡子さんのお友達ですか？
はい、クラスメートです。
お話の内容ですが、概要をお聞かせいただいてもよろしいですか？
実は北条聡子の件なんですけど、虐待はなくて様子見みたいな話になったと聞きました。それで聡子の状況についてもう少し詳しく説明がしたいと思いまして今日来たわけなんですが。
わかりました。もうしばらくお待ちください。
This was it from her then. Real social workers should be coming here to talk with us. She was just asking us basic information. With that done, she was talking on the phone and explaining to someone what I just told her.
何を聞かれたの？
今日は何のご用事ですかって聞かれたぜ。もうちょい待たされるのかな。
こういう無意味な待ち時間ってイラつきます。
ミーはさっきからポスターとかチラシばかり読んでいますが、楽しいですか？
虐待を見たり聞いたりしたらご通報くださいなんてのがいっぱいあるよ。だから私たちみたいなのが来ても決してお門違いってわけじゃなさそうだね。
虐待の目を摘む地域、みんなの目だって、これって川柳なのかな？
言われてみれば そういう啓発ポスターがいっぱい貼ってあるな。さすが児童相談所だぜ。
内側に貼ってもあまり意味がないと思いますです。
Bika-chan was right. They should be posting them all over the city, not just inside the building.
前原
Or at
様、
least outside the building.
大変お待たせしました。2番の相談室へお入りください。
お、呼ばれたぜ。行こう行こう。
Yeah, because this was before the internet, so, I mean, normally they would make advertisements there. As we walked, we soon saw room numbers numbered 1 through 3.
銀行みたいに
They would make
カウンター
advertisements
越しに普通
online,
に話
but
すのかと思ってた
this
ぜ。
time there
個室になって
was
る
no
のか。
internet, so the only thing they could do was post things
多分プライバシー保護のためだね。相談する内
on
容はほとん
buildings,
どの場合
sidewalks, stuff
あ
like
まり
that.
人に聞かれたくない内容だと思うから。
そういう家庭内のトラブルを囲んで見えなくしてしまう土壌がきっと児童虐待を助長してしまうんだろうね。
家庭問題は見て見ぬふりをするのが美徳っぽいとこって確かにありますね。
Room number 2. It's this one. As I knocked, I heard the voice of a woman telling me to come in.
失礼します。
It was a very small room. Well, I should say it was narrow. It wasn't wide, but it was very long. There was a counter in the middle, which split the room into 2. A woman was sitting on the other side of the counter. She told us to take a seat, but there were only 2 chairs. I sat down since we registered under my name. Mion wouldn't sit because she felt that the Sonozaki sisters shouldn't be in the front. Rena tried to offer the seat to Rika-chan, but she refused to, so Rena ended up taking it. It was such a tiny room that it was better for us to take a seat. It was very cramped with the 4 of us.
申し訳
5
ご
of
ざいま
us,
せ
excuse
ん
me.
ね。普通はご両親が2人でお見えになることが多いので。
I understand that.
それで今日はどういったご相談でしょうか。
俺が代表で喋っていいのか。俺たちはひなみ沢分校に通っているもので、北条聡子の友人です。昨日学校から通報があって、相談所の人が聡子のところへ行ったと思います。ただそこで緊急性がないと判断されて様子見になったと聞き、相談所の方が事態をよく把握されてないんじゃないかと思って、その辺の説明に参りました。
Mion nodded. It seemed like I was doing okay so far.
説明と申しますと、どんな説明でしょうか。お聞かせいただけますか。
ですね、確かに聡子は叔父に連れ去られてからまだ2日しか経ってませんが、ひどい乱暴をされるのは時間の問題なんです。実際去年の時にも叔父は聡子をひどくいじめていたんです。そういういじめが行われるのは時間の問題だと思います。だからそうなる前に聡子を叔父の元から救い出してほしいんです。でも聞くところによれば相談所は様子見ってことになったそうじゃないですか。
様子見なんて聡子を見殺しにするつもりですか。聡子が虐待を受けていないから助けなくていいなんてよく言えますね。虐待を受けたらその傷は誰が責任を取ってくれるんです。
Sean probably didn't like how politely I was speaking to her. She was already flaring up with rage at the social worker. It looked like Mion didn't want her to tear into her. However, she let Shion finish, as she'd get even more furious if we tried to stop her. The woman seemed to be used to people losing their temper, and she continued without reacting to Shion's outburst.
まず誤解を解いておきたいと思いますけど、北条さんの件は現在対応中です。見殺しとか放置とかそういうわけではないんですよ。
Working on her case. They're not abandoning her. They're currently reviewing options, I suppose? While their mature phrasing made me start to think it might be rude and harsh to say that we were abandoning her, Rena quietly opened her mouth.
昨日の時点では何もせずに帰られてますよね。
No one can ever fool Rena. Taking their time to review options was the exact same thing as abandoning her. Fact is, they left her in that house without taking any actions to prevent her from being abused.
昨夜は相談所の者が直接お伺いし、ご事情を伺わせていただきました。それ以上のことはプライバシーがありますのでお話できませんが、決して見殺しなんてことはありません。北条さん親子が健全な生活を送れるよう 引き続き指導していくつもりです。
Trying to look after her and her father's. Yeah, no.
何言ってんです？誰が親子ですか？おじとめいです。本当に事態を把握してるんですか？
失礼しました。おじとめいですね。訂正します。とにかく親権者と児童が健全な関係を結べるよう指導中です。
Fiona had pounced on her mistake immediately. I didn't think she needed to be so snappy, but at this point I was starting to understand how different their sense of urgency was from ours.
いや、聡子は普通に生活してきたんですよ。おじなんかの助けもなく。第一、おじはそれまで1年間どっかへ蒸発していて、いきなり帰ってきて聡子をさらったんですよ。それって誘拐じゃないんですか？
誘拐というのは言い過ぎですね。子は親権者の定めるところに住まなければならないと定められています。民法の第821条で親権者はこの
1年間も聡子をほったらかしてたんですよ。
He
なんで
abandoned
あんなや
her.
つが親権者なんて言えるんですか？そりゃシオン、聡子の両親が2年目のたたりで死んだ時、ちゃんとそういうことになってるんだよ。
そうなのか？あんなやつでも親権者なんて名乗れるのか？
うん。民法の何条だかは知らないけど、未成年者は親権に服さないといけないと決められてる。つまり子である限り誰にでも親権者はいるんだよ。いや、いないといけないんだよ。
それは民法の第818条ですね。
それってのはつまり聡子の両親が亡くなった時
They're the
に
next in line
自動的
of,
におじお
of
ばの
kin
夫婦
to her.
にスライドするもんなのか？
うん。
Especially
基本
since
的には近い親族に決まる。
Satoshi
聡子には
disappeared.
おじ夫婦しか親類がいないようだったからね。もちろん聡子たちが望めば他の人が親権者になることもあったかもしれないけど、ダム戦争の直後のひなみ沢でニック騎法上家の子供ですから、引き取り手なんて現れるわけないじゃないですか。引き手あまたであっさり君吉のおじいちゃんが後見人になってくれたリカちゃまとは事情が違うんです。
I knew that the Hojo family was in favor of the dam project, and the whole village hated her family for that reason. But I thought everything was over after they canceled the project and Satoko's parents died. Was I aware of the difference? The difference between how the villagers treat Satoko and how they treat Rika-chan? The villagers don't abuse Satoko like her uncle, but maybe they were small thorns left in the village and they were stinging Satoko occasionally.
大きい声じゃ言えないけど、おじ夫婦より聡子の一家の方が財産は持ってたと思う。親権者になればこの財産管理権ができるからね。だからおじ夫婦はあの後シャーシャーと聡子の家へ引っ越してきて乗っ取っちゃったわけよ。あいつらの本当の家知ってる？めちゃくちゃ小さくて狭いんだよ。
なんだか嫌な話だね。でも親権者が1年間も聡子ちゃんを放置してたんでしょ？それって親権者って言えるの？どうなんですか？
そうですね。民法の4編4章に親権の喪失についての定めというのがあります。
Went opened a thick book on the counter and showed us that page. I didn't completely understand what it says on there, but it seemed that a parent can lose custody when they're being irresponsible.
つまり親の資格というのは取り消せるものなんだね。
待て待て、裁判所がどうとか書いてあるぞ。何？家庭裁判所はこの親族または検察官の請求によってその親権の喪失を宣告することができる。なんだこれ。あんな奴の親権を奪うのにのんびりと家庭裁判所の判断を待たなきゃならないんですか？そんな悠長な。
いえいえ。
Thank you for lurking.
本当にそのようなことがあった場合には児童の安全のため緊急の一時保護をすることもあります。もちろんその場合も家裁の許可が必要ですが、
その834条の親権喪失に北条哲平は該当しないんですか？親権者である北条哲平が1年間育児放棄をしていた事実、それを相談所ではどうお考えですか？
それはプライバシーがありますのでお答えできませんが、もちろんその点についても相談所の方で説明を求めています。
で、その説明に納得したんで 様子見ってことになったわけですか？
ですから先ほども申しましたように、現在対応中です。児童の身柄ももちろん第一に考えますし、児童が健全な家族環境の中で暮らしていけるよう慎重に対応するつもりです。
We weren't on the same page at all. They just weren't understanding the urgency. I've never met this Tepai guy. I only know about the situation based on what my friends told me about last year and what Chie-sensei told us. But I still understood very well. I understood that something really bad was going to happen if we didn't take any action right now.
だいたい去年だっておじおば揃っていじめてたんですよ。そんなおじのところに預けてても大丈夫なんですか？その時のことが記録に残ってるはずですよね。
過去の件についてはプライバシーでお答えできませんが、もちろん総合的に判断した上で対応しております。
昨日も
The
投
law
稿して
is
こないし、
so
今日
frustrating.
も投稿してきませんでした。
Everything has to be done
学
by
校
the
には
book.
風邪だと連絡があったそうですが、おじに連れて行かれてから一度も学校
And
に
it
来
goes
てない
slightly
なんておか
outside
し
of
く
the
ありませんか？
lines. It's like, nope, we can't do it. Sorry.
ただ風邪で2日休
Even
む
if
ことも
it's
ないとは言えません。
actually
もう
going
少
to
し
be
様子を
the
見てもいいので
solution
はない
that
かと思いま
helps
す。
everyone.
とにかく聡子がおじのところにいたいわけがないんですよ。おじに無理やり監禁されてるんです。
もちろん当方の職員が直接児童に聞き取りも行い、その上で判断しております。
結局あれですか？聡子の過去の嘘通報が今田を引いてるってわけですか？
過去の件はプライバシーでお答えできません。児童のために総合的に判
Oh
断して
my
います。
god. This lady.
聡子のやつ、兄のサトシに変に義理立てして虐待されててもされてないって言うと思うんですよ。だから聡子が虐待はないって言っても鵜呑みにしないでください。
打ちのめされた人間には助けを求める気力もないってこと、わかり
Absolutely
ますよ
true.
ね。
Also when they feel threatened.
しのごの言わずに聡子を早く助け出してください。聡子に何かあったら絶対許さないですから。
No, number one,
私
she's
が真摯の
depressed.
対応しているうちに何とかしないと
Number
大変なこと
two,
になるよ。
she's threatened by her uncle. Number three,
心象悪く
she
するだ
fears
けだ
that
よ。
her uncle is going to hurt other
相談
people
所
if
の
she
人が
relies
いた
on them.
時、おじがどういう態度をしたのかわかりま
So
せん
for
が、
those three
とにか
reasons,
くあいつは乱暴なやつなん
she's
です。騙され
refusing
ない
to
で
make
く
a
ださい。
statement.
今日はそれを伝えたくて来たんです。
だからどうか一刻も早く聡子ちゃんを助け出す判断を下すよう保護司の人に伝えてください。よろしくお願いいたします。
Some of us were getting emotional, but Mion calmed them down, and Rena summed it up nicely. I stopped speaking to see what she was going to say next.
保護士さんではなく福祉士さんですね。お話は分かりました。聡子さんのお友達5人からその旨の訴えがあったことを児童福祉士に伝えます。引き続き慎重に対応してまいりますので、今後も何かございましたらお知らせいただければと思います。どうか今後とも児童福祉にご協力いただければ幸いです。本日は貴重なお話をお聞かせくださり誠にありがとうございました。
We were still in Okinomiya. We were in the city park, devout playing children staring vacantly up at the madder red sky in silence.
なんだかこう、うまくあしらわれた感じがしてならないです。
かといって邪険にされたわけじゃないし、あの人は多分相談窓口の人で聡子ちゃんの件を直接担当してる人じゃないんだよ。だからああいう言い方になっちゃうんだよ。
ミオンはさっきのやりとりはどう見た？
なんだか大木を相手に相撲を取ったような感じだね。押しても来ない、引いても来ない。あれじゃあ壁に向かって独り言を言ったのと変わらないじゃないですか。
そんなことないよ。ちゃんと今日の話を伝えてくれるって言ってた。あの人は直接聡子ちゃんのことを知らないから私たちから見たら冷たい言い方になっちゃうんだよ。
レナ的には今日の手応えはあったと思うか？
無駄だったとは思わないよ。 でも本当の担当者の人には私たちの熱意は伝わらないだろうね。北条聡子の友人5人が保護を求めて本日夕方陳情ありって程度には伝えてくれると思う。
保護士じゃなくて福祉士でしたっけ？その人に直接訴えることはできないんですか？さあね、トラブルの多い職業らしいからね。直接の接触って難しいんじゃないの？紳士の対応をしているうちに何とかしないと大変なことになるなんて脅迫しに来る人がいるくらいなんだからさ。
According to Mion, there are lots of problematic citizens who show up at the child consultation center. It's not a rare thing for him to get an aggressive visitor like Shion.
そういう相手に熱意を伝えるのって難しいね。熱意を感情的と履き違えれば履き違えるほど向こうは冷めた対応をするんだろうから。
ミオは天下の園崎家次期当主として役所の人とはだいぶ話してて話術にも長けてるんだろ。俺なんかよりももっとうまく話せないのかよ。
お姉の話術じゃないです。お姉が園崎家のミオンだから相手が平服してくれるだけです。今日の対応見ましたよね。お姉が園崎だと名乗ったらあんな狭い部屋じゃなくてきっと応接室で所長が対応してくれてますよね。
Mion gave a vague smile and didn't comment. Mion's greatest weapon is her family name. Without that weapon, she's just as ordinary as the rest of us. I shouldn't be thinking about this, but if the Sonosuke family forgave Satoko's family, it would be really easy for them to save her.
やはり園崎家は今でも北条家が嫌いなのですか？
嫌いだって公言してる人はいないよ。でも根深いみたいだね。というかばあさんが北条嫌いの筆頭ですし、頭の中いつまでダム戦争やってるってんですか？死守同盟が解散して何年経ってるんです？
しーちゃんやめなよ。さとこちゃんはさとこちゃんだよ。私たちの大切な仲間。名字が何かなんて関係ないよ。
Shion went quiet and there was silence for a while. Rena was right. Just like how Satoko's last name doesn't matter, it doesn't matter what Mion's last name is either. The more important thing is that our friend is being abused right now. We'd have to do everything we can to save her from that situation. We all looked up at the sky as we listened to the sound of the cars passing by. We all felt hopeless. We had no idea what to do. Was what we did today going to help Satoko at all? It would have been better if they just kicked us out. That way we could have been angry with them. But after being treated politely like that, we had no choice but to back off and say what they were going to do. We were forced to just wait and see what happens. Everyone was trying to figure out what our next option was. I couldn't expect Chie-sensei to tell us that everything was taken care of at the Board of Education. That would be too good to be true.
次はどうしような。
I muttered to myself, hoping that someone would respond with a good idea, but the silence reminded me that everyone was just as stuck as me.
リカちゃんか。すまん。あれだけでかい口を叩いて打つ手なしだ。
信じない。
え？
As I looked at her, I realized that the expression on her face was stronger than ever.
昨日圭一がシオンに言った。今は思いつかないけどきっと最前提を思いつくから俺を信じろって言った。だから私は信じた。だから圭一の口から打つ手がないなんて悲しい言葉が漏れるなんて信じない。
I could see tears in her eyes. Poor Rika. I almost sure that I could do something about the
圭
situation.
一が言った。運命なんて金魚すくいの網より薄く破ってやるって言った。私はそれを信じる。今でも信じてる。 だってあなたは運命なんかやすやす打ち破ってくれる人なんだから助けて。この運命から聡子助けて。
She rolled down from the corner of her eye. My heart was feeling the same way. Damn it. The innocent girl was becoming a prisoner of a tragic fate. She desperately needed help. I told them that they could trust me. In other words, that they could count on me. That they could bet on me. Betting is not an easy thing. If I lost, they'd lose their coins too. What does it mean to trust someone? It's about making a bet on that person. It's about betting a coin. It's about betting hope. Trusting someone is tantamount to placing your hopes in them. I told Shion yesterday. I told her to trust me. I didn't say it just because. I knew that those words meant something very serious. But now, after betraying Rika-chan and seeing her tears, I finally realized just how serious it is. Excuse me, jeez. I look at Shion. Shion was in a rage again. Shion tried to calm her down, but she didn't have any ideas either. How about Rena? She's always very reliable in a situation like this. Expected to see her strength. However, Rena also looked depressed. We didn't even know if what we did was a meaningful thing. Rena looked down with devastating expression on her face, and she couldn't come up with another option either. Damn it, I have to do something for them. Rena's blue fire will melt iron. Mion can be strong when the wind is in our favor. Shion is the same way. They will move forward strongly when the wind is backing them up, but they grow weak when the wind is blowing against them. Despite the whole situation, Rika-chan still believes in us. She believes that we can do something if we all come together. That's right, we all agreed. We said to each other that we can make a miracle happen if we all work together. What am I? Fren is the blue fire, I'm the red fire. I burn brightly and give strength to everyone. That's right, I'm Keiichi Maebara. I'm the magician of words. I have to motivate everyone. The blue fire won't light up unless the red fire does too. When the flame is lit, there will be wind. Mion and Shion will become stronger too.
ありがとうな。リカちゃんが火打ち石を叩いてくれた。そして俺という火が燃え上がってきたぜ。
ケイチ。
We can't give up now. We're members of the strongest club ever. Nothing can stop us when we get together.
この俺があの程度でへこむなんて情けないぜ。リカちゃんの言葉で目が覚めた。自分を信じろって言葉がどれだけ重いかってことを教えてもらったぜ。
Rika-chan knew our personalities well, and she figured out just who she should motivate first. Well, I'm really starting to burn up.
おいミオ、いつまでしょぼくれてやがる。ここは怒り狂うところだぜ。おい。
Everyone looked at me with wide eyes as they turned on my powerful voice. They were both surprised by my sudden shout, and waiting in anticipation at the vigor of my call. More and more clearly, I club.
さっきの対応は客観的に見てまずは空振りだな。多分レナの言うようにクラスメートが5人来て陳情って程度のメモ書きで終わっちまうんだろう。だからな、ああいう対応をしちまったら俺たちの怒りに火がついちまうぜ。
確かに木で鼻をくくったような感じだったけど、
俺たちは貞子の緊急の危機を訴えてんだぞ。あの対応はねえだろ。ここは戦うとこだぞ。こんな公園で仲良くしょぼくれてる場合じゃね
え。でもケイチ君、次に私たちは何をしたらいいんだろう。
へへへ。お前らまさかもうこの程度で晩作が尽きたとか思ってんじゃねえだろうな。お前らこれが部活なら全員ピリだぜ。
This is fun. I was feeling depressed too, but now I've got a burning passion in my heart. I feel like I was cheering myself up. Why was I being so sad? If I wanted to save Satoko, I had no time to rest. This was like the final seconds of the last round in a boxing match where we were at a disadvantage. If I stand here stupefied, I'll lose my indecision. So the only option is to press the attack. Was I supposed to give up just because I couldn't knock out the opponent with one punch? No. If I couldn't take him out in one, I'd just have to throw 2 or 3 punches. I'd have to try until I could finally knock him out. Well, this is the second punch, really. You're saying that we're going to go there tomorrow. Well, if you count Chie actually going to the house, that's 1. 2 is actually calling the consultation center. 3 is making a visit to appeal.
面白そうな気がしてきたよ。これで泣き寝入りなんて我がぶらしくもない。この程度の逆風、跳ね返してみせなきゃね。
Yes, Miona's getting her willpower back too.
そうだね。圭一君の言う通りだよ。いじけてた自分が恥ずかしい。戦おう。でも圭ちゃん、具体的にはどうしようってわけさ。
みんなもちょいと思い出してみな。あの相談員は俺たちに宣戦布告をしてくれやがったわけだが、ご丁寧にも次の手も教えてくれてたわけさ。多分意識しなかったんだろうけどな。墓穴を掘ってくれたもんだぜ。しかもそいつはどうやら俺の最も得意とする戦術になりそうだぜ。
He's got a plan, guys. He's got a plan. Is that the end of the chapter? Yep. Well, dang. I want to hear the plan. Receptionist note. No. Date, year, subject about Satoko Hojo-san. Visitor Keiichi Maebara and 4 other friends. They are requesting protection for Satoko Hojo-san to save her from being abused by her uncle. Already being dealt with? I'm cleaning out the refrigerator, so please remove your personal belongings by this evening. What? That's all they said? Teppei suspected that Satoko was hiding more money somewhere. But in reality, she had none at all. Teppei had asked her how she survived until now, but she told him that she didn't have to use money because she was living with her friend. Teppei had made some money off of illegal gambling. While he had some of that money saved up, he had no intention to use it on living expenses. However, there was no way Satoko didn't have the money. Teppei was convinced of that. Teppei's wife, Satoko's aunt, must have taken away the family bank book when Satoko's parents died in the accident. But her aunt also died last year, and Satoshi is gone too. That means Satoko should have hidden the bank book somewhere. However, no matter how much he threatened her, she told him that she didn't know anything about it. He continued to question Satoko, still believing that she was hiding it somewhere. He couldn't beat her because her teacher in the child consultation center would suspect him. So he wouldn't beat her. Instead, he spoke to her in a loud and violent voice and broke furniture in front of her. Threatening people like that is Teppei's forte. However, Satoko continued to claim that she had no clue about the bank book. She didn't seem to be lying. After destroying the whole living room, leaving Satoko frightened like a scared little animal, Teppei finally believed that Satoko had no idea where the bank book was. In that case, where could it be? Teppei had 2 ideas. One idea was that his wife hid it somewhere in secret. The other idea was that Satoshi took it after his wife's death and hid it somewhere else. Either way, he was certain it was hidden somewhere in this house. He told Satoko to clean up the mess he made in the living room and started searching around the house. Teppei was starting to get bored with Satoko. He'd heard that Satoko's parents had a lot of money saved up, but his wife had taken control of that money herself. Since his wife had been quite thrifty, he made sure that she left the notebook somewhere without using it. Once he got his hands on that money, he could move somewhere else entirely. Teppei was still acquainted with a few people from the gambling spawn in Gogura. People he used to help out are still hanging around that area. They still owe him. They should at least let him crash there. It was great that Satoko takes care of all the chores around the house, but Teppei felt uncomfortable about being watched by both the school and the consultation center. Teppei, all too aware that he's a man of violence, couldn't stand living with Satoko without being violent towards her. The more he suffered, the stronger his urge to beat up Satoko grew. Since Teppei only knew joy through forcing others who resisted to submit, testing to see how violent he could be before the helpless Satoko resisted him was something he was excited to try eventually. Still upset over the visitation by the school teacher, Teppei promised himself that he would destroy Satoko's life before leaving the village. Damn. Dude is the absolute scum of the fucking earth. Wow. He can't just leave and say bye. No, he has to, like, try to ruin her life beforehand. Like, what the fuck? What kind of mentality is that? Sheesh. Wow. Anyways, I know he's a fictional character, but goddamn, he's the fucking worst. Alright, guys. If I'm being absolutely honest, I am, like, very mentally drained. These chapters have been very, very hard, and I need some more decompression time. Also, I have a little bit of a headache, and, my cheek aches for some reason. I don't know if it's because I've been, like, talking so much, streaming so much lately. Maybe I strained it. But I am going to end stream here. If I feel up to it, I might play a couple chapters later tonight. I am not sure. But we're going to find somebody to raid, and then I'm going to take myself a little nap and get some rest. So, let's see. Who is online right now? Maibu, perfect. 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 We love the Maibu, everybody. Maibu is online streaming me side, I believe, on both her Twitch and her YouTube. Aw, thanks, Pally. Thank you so much. So we're gonna go raid and support her. She's one of my really good friends, and she's amazing, and also has a really amazing voice, so... In this playing the nice little spooky games, I actually really enjoy watching people play that game. It's very interesting. So, yeah, let's go support our friend and support the spooky games. Keep the spooky games going, you know what I'm saying? Alright, thank you guys so much for coming and stopping by the stream. I super appreciate it. Thank you guys for supporting me. I will do my best to stream as often as I can, especially when I'm off. And I will see you guys very soon. Bye-bye!